Chapter 308. After communicating with his teammate, Zhang Fei, Xiao Yi controlled little Luden to move very arrogantly and boldly start to fill in the gaps. The hero on the other side, who had just sent little Luden back to the spring water, would be crazily attacked by little Luden the moment he came forward a little. Little Luden relied on the support and protection to move very fiercely. Not only did he not let the other party finish him off, he even wanted to directly push the other party out of the experience zone. On the other side, Kai was annoyed and a little annoyed. He could not help but want to come over and fight. However, when his HP reached a certain level, he suddenly calmed down and retreated. When little Luden saw this, he knew that the other party knew how to play. It was not a simple matter to kill the other party. He still needed to show flaws, seduce the other party. As his thought appeared, little Luden deliberately made a mistake. He pointed at the people under the tower, attracted the tower's hatred, and was hit by the tower. Little Luden's HP dropped quite a bit. He was already in a state where he could be killed by Kai with a single slash. However, even so, little Luden's movements were still very jumpy. He was using his life to seduce the other party. As the hero who had died the most times in the King's Canyon, little Luden's mocking face could be imagined how much hatred it would attract. And a little Luden that could be killed with a single slash attracted enough hatred to make people lose their minds for a short period of time. As expected, Kai could not help but move. He flashed over and was about to kill little Luden with a single slash. However, this was all within Xiao Ye's expectations. Little Luden also flashed and distanced himself. He even used a second skill to push the other party away. Kai activated his skill and rushed over without a care for his life. He wanted to swap with little Luden. "Give me the shield, he's dead," Xiao Yi shouted in the voice chat. However, Zhang Fei was clearly at a distance where he could give a shield, but he was stunned on the spot. He waved his saber. Little Luden returned to the spring water. Zhang Fei's shield came and jumped over to send Blood Kai back to the spring water. At the same time, Kai sent a message. Little Luden on the other side, "I'll cut off your dog head with one slash." Kai, who was on the other side, had been crazily riding on little Luden's face and had long been holding his breath. At this moment, he had successfully chopped little Luden down, and he was in a very good mood. On the other side, following little Luden's death, a few teammates questioned him with their souls. His teammate Xiao Qiao said, "Little Luden, we're giving away 2 HP. Aren't you too new?" His teammate, Old Master, said, "He really lives up to his name. He's really a rookie." His teammate Luna said, "Don't count on this little brat. He doesn't know how to play at all. He chose Luna in the last round and tricked me with all his might." Ding! The host has successfully put on a show, causing the main character Yi Qiu's mental state to be damaged. Reward: 500 villain points. Xiao Yi felt very gloomy after being criticized by his teammates. He typed, "Zhang Fei, why didn't you use your shield in time?" Xiao Yi typed. Zhang Fei said, "Just a little." Xiao Yi was speechless. He wondered if he had met another actor. Judging from Zhang Fei's timing of giving the shield 1 or 2 points at the start of the game, it was obvious that he knew how to play. The first time he was stuck, the shield did not appear in time. That made sense. But the second time, it got stuck at the crucial moment. That would be a problem. Moreover, more importantly, once his little Luden died, Zhang Fei was no longer stuck. He even picked up the opponent's head. However, these were only Xiao Ye's guesses. There was no evidence, so he did not say it out loud. Little Luden finished the countdown and returned to the game. This time, Xiao Yi was no longer arrogant. He obediently replenished his troops and developed. He could tell that his teammates were unreliable. He still had to rely on himself. As long as he developed well and had equipment, he would be able to easily kill the other party. However, Xiao Yi soon encountered a problem. Little Luden said, "Zhang Fei, why are you stealing my troops? You're a noob marksman. Are you worthy of replenishing your troops? I'm not going to support you." Wang Haoren sent a message. Little Luden said, "Zhang Fei, you're pretending to be me on purpose." Xiao Yi could tell that Zhang Fei was an actor. The first 2 times he said that he was stuck, he was just pretending. When Su Muyin saw that her boyfriend was being scolded, she quickly supported him. Little rookie, have you forgotten how you tricked me? You're so noob that no support is willing to protect you. How dare you talk about others? Su Muyin played Luna, and her stats were very good. She killed several people in a row. Of course, her other teammates did not doubt her words and immediately sent a message. Old master, noob little Luden, you're really noob and talkative. Xiao Qiao. Little rookie, you're the player who bought the account, right? I hope you die half of your account book. Believe me, I'm not a noob. My skills are very good. I can win this round. Xiaoyi was also live streaming. He did not want to fight with others and wanted to use his strength to prove himself. Although the other party was full of high-star players, Xiaoyi believed that his skill level was much higher than the other parties. Even if the economy was not good now, the support could not protect him. However, Xiaoyi felt that with his flashy positioning, the chances of winning this game were still very high. After Xiaoyi said this, the people in the team did not respond. Xiaoyi heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this. Although Zhang Fei snatched the knife, his little Luden was not to be trifled with. The two of them had a 50% chance of winning. Little Luden could still earn a lot of money. If this continued, when little Luden developed, he would definitely be able to show off. Unfortunately, Wang Howren would not give him the chance to do so, even though he had a good plan. Let's throw in this round. Little rookie is too much of a scammer. If we continue to play, we'll lose. Wang Howren used a private voice chat to tell Su Muyin. Su Muyin was live streaming. If she continued to act, it would affect Su Muyin's popularity. As for Xiao Yi, even without the protection of Zhang Fei, he would still have room to shine when he had some equipment. Wang Howren would not give Xiao Yi the chance to perform. Okay. Su Muyin was afraid that her boyfriend would be bullied, so she naturally agreed obediently. She directly sent a team message. Little rookie is too much of a scammer. I don't want to play anymore. Let's throw in. After saying that, she directly surrendered. Wang Howren voted in agreement. When the other two teammates saw that Luna, who had the best stats, did not want to play anymore, they immediately lost interest and chose to agree. At the same time, they also scolded little rookie again. Xiaoyi was focused on snatching the knife from Zhang Fei and was preparing to show off later. However, when he saw that his four teammates had agreed to surrender, his expression froze. There were already 4 votes for surrendering. Even if he voted against it, it would be useless. Once the voting time was over, the game's outcome would be determined. Xiaoyi's base exploded. He lost again. In the live stream, more than half of the new viewers who came to watch King of Glory immediately ran away. Xiaoyi felt very aggrieved. Ding. Host manipulated behind the scenes and caused the protagonist, Xiaoyi, to lose the game. Obtained 1,200 villain points. Xiaoyi's protagonist, aura, -60. Host villain, aura, +60. Chapter 309. Wang Howren happily accepted the reward and then formed a team with Su Muyin. He was matched with the little rookie again. But this time, he was not a teammate with the little rookie, but an enemy. Wang Howren was surprised for a moment, but then he felt that this was normal. He was a villain. Teaming up with the female lead, Su Muyin, was actually a contradictory combination. Xiaoyi could be matched with him because of Su Muyin's female lead halo. It was also possible that he could be matched with the opposite team because of Wang Howren's villain halo. Miss Moran, we are matched together again, but this time we are enemies. But don't worry, I will be merciful. Still in the selection stage, Xiaoyi began to jump again and sent a text message in the public chat channel. Su Muyin was too lazy to pay attention to him, so naturally she would not respond. Seeing this, the little rookie sent another message. Zhang Fei, this time we are enemies. You can't play me now, right? These words were obviously directed at Wang Howren. After Wang Howren saw it, he chuckled. The little rookie was too naive. If he was not on the side, no one would play him. The little rookie was full of confidence in this game and chose my Shiranui, who had a lot of room for maneuvering. Wang Howren silently chose the Prince of Longling. Entering the King's Canyon screen, Wang Howren immediately sent a private message to the little rookie as 4 teammates. If there were no actors, couldn't he hire them? In this game, as long as there was money, there was no actor that couldn't be hired. If they didn't act, it could only mean that the acting fee was not enough. And in dealing with the protagonist, Wong Howren didn't mind spending more money. The little rookie was full of longing, operating the game character My Shiranui to the middle line, thinking of killing everyone. As a result, his 4 teammates almost made him doubt his life. The little rookie's teammates gave him all kinds of kills, mana, and red at the beginning of the game. About 6 minutes into the game, the little rookie saw a Prince of Lanling with 6 godly equipment. The little rookie was dumbfounded. My Shiranui was very good at showing off, but in front of Prince of Lanling with 6 godly equipment in the early stage, she was killed in seconds. The little rookie was stared at. Prince of Lanling was infinitely super godly, and his My Shiranui was infinitely super godly. In this sullen state, the game was over. Inside the rented house, Xiaoyi was he was so angry that the screen, eating chickens playing S. It's too hard. SSSS. S plus. SSS. S's. 60-foot SSS. Ding. The host has caused the protagonist, Yi Chio's mentality, to be damaged. Obtained 800 villain points. Rewards. To then, he teamed up with Su Mayan. But this time, he was not matched with the little rookie. Without the little rookie, Wong Howren was very bored and ended the game as soon as possible. How long have you been practicing? How are you so good? Su Mu Yin said to Wong Howren in surprise in the voice chat. This game is too simple. Don't you just need to have hands? I've been playing for a few days. If I can't even be this good, then I'm too useless, Wong Howren said. Su Mu Yin didn't know how to respond for a moment. She thought that she was already very talented in games, but it turned out that Wong Howren was several levels better than her. The more I interact with you, the more I find you incredible. You can do magic, play the piano so well, and you're so talented in games. You always bring me all kinds of surprises. Su Mu Yin sighed. I have something even better. You haven't seen it yet. Wong Howren inexplicably smiled. What's even better? Tell me, I want to know. Su Mu Yin happily asked. I won't tell you. Anyway, you'll see it sooner or later. You just need to be mentally prepared in advance. Wong Howren smirked. Su Mu Yin felt that something was wrong. She felt that something was wrong, so she tentatively asked. Qin Yunhan has already seen it, right? I've already seen it, Wong Howren openly said. He didn't hide it. Hearing this answer, Su Mu Yin finally understood why Wong Howren had such a strange smile. It was just as she guessed. Qin Yunhan, this shameless guy, actually beat her to it. Ding! The host made Su Mu Yin jealous. Reward: 500 villain points. Ding! The host made Su Mu Yin jealous. Reward: 500 villain points. Ding! The host made Su Mu Yin jealous. Reward: 500 villain points. I'm going to continue the broadcast. I can't talk to you anymore. Su Mu Yin was jealous. If you don't want to talk, then I'll hang up. Wong Howren said. Wait a minute. Su Mu Yin suddenly said. What's wrong? I'm actually mentally prepared. You do as you see fit. Half of what she said was because she wanted to compete with Qin Yunhan, and the other half was driven by her heart. Otherwise, with her personality, she wouldn't have said this. After saying that, Su Mayan felt too ashamed to show her face, so she directly hung up the call. Ding! The host successfully instigated the female lead, Su Mu Yin, to give a hint. Reward: 1,000 villain points. Oh, there's still a reward? Wong Howren was stunned for a while, and then began to feel conflicted. In this way, should they act according to Su Mayan's wishes, or should they not act according to her wishes? After thinking for a while, Wong Howren couldn't make up his mind, so he put it aside for now. I should investigate the main character, Xiao Yi. From their interactions in the game, Wong Howren could tell that this Xiao Yi was a streamer and gamer type of main character. Wong Howren used Xiao Ye's game ID, Little Noob, to search for her on all the streaming platforms. Soon, he found Little Noob's streaming room on the Douyin platform. The streaming room had just closed not long ago, so he could see the time and duration of Little Noob's last stream. Wong Howren made some calculations based on the data and was immediately certain that this live stream belonged to Xiao Yi. Xiao Yi registered as a streamer, so there would definitely be traces of her on the internet. Wang Haoren used his top-notch hacking skills to hack into the platform's database and found Xiao Ye's information. This information included Xiao Ye's identity, photo, and current address. After he obtained all of this, finding Xiao Yi couldn't be any easier. This was because Xiao Ye's current residence was also in Qingling, which wasn't too far from the university. Wang Haoren took advantage of the night to set off and prepared to make a trip there. However, he couldn't help but complain to himself. The internet god, Lin Feng, was in Qingling and a main character of the game and stream. Xiao Yi was also in Qingling. Does this mean that any random main character I met on the internet is living in Qingling? Isn't this too much of a coincidence? However, after thinking about it, Wang Haoren felt that this explanation made sense. The reason for this was that there were too many female leads in Qingling. As the main character, it was normal for Xiao Yi to be attracted. The law of dogs and meat buns was definitely not just for show. Chapter 310. Less than an hour later, Wang Haoren saw Xiao Yi near a residential building with his X-ray vision. Then, he checked it with the system. Soon, he found out that Xiao Yi had a game livestream system. The game's livestream system was to gather popularity through live streams and generate popularity points to draw prizes or exchange for items. However, Xiao Ye's protagonist aura was less than 1,000 points, so his luck was limited. In other words, although he had the system was very limited. The items that he could draw prizes and exchange for were basically related to the game. Xiao Yi, the protagonist, was far inferior to the prodigy protagonist, Lin Chen. Back then, Lin Chen's protagonist aura was close to 3,000 points. Xiao Yi, the protagonist, was not a threat to Wang Haoren. He was a sheep that could be harvested to his heart's content. However, Wang Haoren did not have so much time to stay in the game every day to find an actor to play Xiao Yi and obtain villain points and other rewards. He could only get someone to be his coolie. His new follower, Jiang Gaoxian, was still in Qingling and had nothing better to do. Wang Haoren planned to hand this matter over to Jiang Gaoxian. Of course, Wang Haoren did not want Jiang Gaoxian to play games with Xiao Yi and find an actor to play Xiao Yi. Jiang Gaoxian was a powerful villain, so he could not do that. Or rather, he was not suitable for it. The key to dealing with Xiao Yi was to stop him from attracting popularity through live streams. In order to do that, he did not have to find an actor to play him. There were too many ways to stop him from gaining popularity through live streams. For example, when Xiao Yi was live streaming, the game had just started when the internet was suddenly cut off. For example, when Xiao Yi was playing the game, he saw a ghost face outside the window. Jiang Gaoxian had the strength of a master of neutralizing strength. It was easy for him to do that. After making up his mind, Wang Haoren went to find Jiang Gaoxian and assigned him this task. After doing all this, it was already past 1 a.m. Wang Haoren was still energetic. This was the benefit of 100 years of true qi. He only needed an hour of 24 hours a day to be fully energized. It was only 1 a.m. It was too early to rest. As the saying goes, life is about exercise. After returning to the villa, he called Qiu Qianwei, who was closest to him, in an antique room. The incomparably handsome Yin Yuntian sat cross-legged on a praying mat with his eyes closed. There was an invisible air current swirling around his body. As time passed, the invisible airflow became more and more solid. After an unknown period of time, Yin Yuntian's tightly shut eyes sprang open. His eyes shone brightly. After a long time, it slowly receded. Ha ha! Yin Yuntian suddenly burst into laughter, venting the emotions that had been accumulating for a long time. After painstakingly cultivating for so long, he had finally reached this level. There was a knock on the door. He restrained his laughter, but the smile on his face did not diminish. Come in. 2 beautiful women pushed open the door and entered. One was as beautiful as the autumn moon, while the other was as radiant as the morning sun. They were Yin Yuntian's mates. The former was called Yuning, and the latter was called Yunxian. Congratulations, young master, for successfully entering the realm of evolved Jing Master. Yu Ning and Yun Xian congratulated at the same time. Yu Ning continued, "Young Master, you're not even 20 years old, but you've already entered the realm of evolved Jing Master. This kind of cultivation talent can be said to be the best among the younger generation. Even Jiang Gaoxian, who is on the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix list, has to stand aside." Yun Xian also said, "It's not just cultivation talent. Although Jiang Gaoxuan's true qi cultivation is higher now, but he's definitely not a match for our young master. Yin Yuntian's martial arts was very special. Although his true qi cultivation was only 50 years ago, his actual combat power was comparable to a 70 to 80-year-old true qi cultivator. Jiang Gaoxian was of course not a match for him. Young master, do you want to find Jiang Gaoxian and take the first place of the Hidden Dragon in Young Phoenix list? For you, this is an easy thing to do." Yu Ning smiled. "This kind of false reputation, I don't care. What I want is," Yin Yuntian said, and suddenly stopped, looking at the beautiful Yu Ning and Yun Xian in front of him. Yu Ning and Yun Xian understood what he meant and lowered their heads. "Now is not the time. You don't have to be nervous." Yin Yuntian smiled evilly. His martial arts was very special. Before he reached the level of transforming strength master, he couldn't get close to beautiful women. He couldn't even think about it to avoid messing up his cultivation. But when he reached the level of transforming strength master, he didn't have to worry about anything. And when he reached this level, his cultivation would become much easier, and he would even be very happy. Because in the future, he didn't have to cultivate anymore. He could use the method of yin and yang to quickly increase his cultivation. Yin Yuntian was born noble. Since he was young, he had a dream, and that was to take all the beauties in the world and become the most outstanding person in history. Before, because his cultivation wasn't there, he had been in seclusion to cultivate. Now that the restriction was lifted, it was time to realize this ambition. However, Yu Ning and Yun Xian were just maids. Yin Yuntian planned to let the two of them stay behind, because in Yin Yuntian's heart, there was already a vague shadow. He hoped that she would be the first. Thinking of this, Yin Yuntian suddenly asked, "The thing I asked you to investigate, did you find it?" Many years ago, Yin Yuntian saw her. At that time, she was only 12 years old. However, even at such a young age, she had already grown into a beautiful and enchanting woman. One could imagine how beautiful the future would be. Yin Yuntian was cultivating at that time, but her shadow was left in his heart. After many years of arduous cultivation, this shadow had become his obsession. She was the daughter of Yin Yuntian's second aunt and a secular man. Her surname was Qin Yunhan. In terms of identity, she was Yin Yuntian's cousin. But Yin Yuntian had always been rebellious and liked to do as he pleased. Just like how he cultivated the carefree mastery, he was free and unfettered and could do whatever he wanted. In his eyes, the secular world's rules were nothing. Yu Ning said, "Young master, I found it. Your beloved cousin is now studying at a high school in the secular world called Qingling University." And Yin Yuntian didn't get the information he wanted and frowned. Yu Ning continued, "Young master, don't be anxious. I haven't finished yet. Your cousin's social circle is very clean. She doesn't even have any male friends." Yin Yuntian was very concerned about her, so he asked more. "Is that true? I heard that in the secular world, it is very casual to talk about boyfriend and girlfriend." Yu Ning said with a very certain tone, "Young master, you can rest assured that it is absolutely true. I have inquired about it. Your cousin has never had a boyfriend since she was young." "That's the best." Yin Yuntian was relieved, but after thinking about it, he still said, "Yu Ning, can you accompany me?" "Yes." Yu Ning understood. She had the ability to see at a glance whether a woman was a blank piece of paper. Yin Yuntian's meaning was obviously to let her identify whether Qin Yunhan was a blank piece of paper or not. "Young master, don't worry. The truth will be as you expect," Yu Xian said. Yin Yuntian's eyes flashed with expectation and excitement. He was an eccentric and self-centered person. He couldn't tolerate any flaws in the things he liked. For example, He had a pot of flowers before, and it was touched by an outsider. Yin Yun Tian suddenly became anxious and crazy, because he felt that outsiders couldn't even look at his flowers, let alone touch them. Once touched or looked at, the flowers would be dirty. Flowers were like this, let alone people. However, Yuning had inquired so clearly that there would be no problem. Chapter 3:11. I'm so happy today. Do you have time after class? I want you to chat with me. During the afternoon break, Wang Haoren received a call from Qin Yunhan. On the phone, Qin Yunhan's voice was filled with uncontrollable joy and elation. What's so happy about? Did you win the competition with Mu Yin? Wang Haoren guessed. I'm much happier than winning the competition with her. Qin Yunhan didn't sound sour when she mentioned Su Mu Yin. It seems that this joy is enough for her to temporarily give up the competition with Su Mu Yin. Wang Haoren thought it was strange, so he asked, so secretive, what's so happy about? I won't tell you for now, but let me give you a hint. It's related to another close relative of mine. Qin Yunhan divulged a bit of information. Wang Haoren looked pensive. Qin Yunhan's other close relative, wasn't it her mother? In the previous plot of the protagonist Xiao Yifeng, Wang Haoren met a person called Fengrong. Fengrong came from a martial arts sect, and at that time, she was Qin Yunhan's mother's younger sister. However, Fengrong came to Qingling because of the sect's internal strife, and she wanted to kidnap Qin Yunhan and take her back to threaten Qin Yunhan's mother. Calculating the time, it's been several months since then. Perhaps the internal strife has come to an end. It seems that Qin Yunhan's happiness is related to this. However, the female lead suddenly got in touch with a close relative she hadn't seen for a long time. This might have triggered the plot. It can't be that Qin Yunhan's mother wants to take her daughter back to the martial arts sect and let her leave Qingling and him in different parts of the world, right? Thinking of this, Wang Haoren's mind immediately came up with this idea. But after thinking about it, he felt that it was impossible. He was not the main character. Why would he encounter a situation where his girlfriend was taken away and his girlfriend's mother ridiculed him in passing? In a fit of anger, he said that life was full of ups and downs and that she shouldn't bully him for being poor. This kind of cliché plot. Moreover, although Qin Yunhan's mother was from a martial arts sect and might be very powerful, Wang Haoren was also very strong. Furthermore, he had tens of thousands of villain points and could increase his true chi by 1 or 200 years at any time. Let's meet at the Lotus Pond on campus later, Wang Haoren said to Qin Yunhan as he put away his complicated thoughts. Qin Yunhan was happy because of something related to her family. She didn't think that she was looking for her for that kind of thing. She really just wanted to chat and share her joy with her. Naturally, Wang Haoren would not arrange to meet at a villa or a hotel. Moreover, it wasn't dark yet. It was a little too early. Okay, see you later. Qin Yunhan responded happily. After hanging up the phone, Wang Haoren continued to attend the last class of the afternoon. He came to the Lotus Pond on campus and sat on a rock beside the pond for a minute or two. Someone was spying in the dark, and that person was Luo Qingxian, who hadn't shown up for a few days. Wang Haoren planned to pretend to be an ordinary person and naturally wouldn't go over to find out. Instead, he pretended that he didn't know anything. After a while, Luo Qingxian quietly came to Wang Haoren's side and sat down on a rock. It's you. Wang Haoren pretended to be surprised. Luo Qingxian was shy and timid. She was secretly happy and couldn't help but ask, why did you suddenly think of this place? Was it because you were thinking about what happened a few days ago? Over the past few days, she had already adjusted her emotions. However, she still couldn't face Wang Haoren for the time being. But when he went out to relieve his boredom, he came here for some reason. She accidentally saw Wang Haoren. This was the place where Luo Qingxian was poisoned by Xiao Wanwan. When Luo Qingxian saw Wang Haoren here, she naturally thought that he was thinking about what happened a few days ago. Since you left without saying goodbye that day, why did you come back now? Wang Haoren's tone had a tinge of displeasure. That day, after Luo Qingxian was detoxified, she couldn't face it and left directly. She left Wang Haoren behind. This feeling, how should he put it? Wang Haoren felt that it was very strange. At this moment, he couldn't help but take this opportunity to complain. I'm sorry, of course. I'm very confused, so I left. Luo Qingxian apologized. Then why are you looking for me now? Wang Haoran asked. That matter. I had no choice. Luo Qingxian said helplessly. Okay, this matter is over. I understand. I don't blame you now. You can leave. Wang Haoran ordered her to leave. Qin Yunhan asked him to meet here. If there was a collision later, it would be troublesome. Don't you have anything to say to me? Luo Qingxian's eyes revealed a tinge of sadness, and she couldn't help but ask. Let's talk about it another day. I want to be alone. You can leave first. Wang Haoran wanted to talk to Luo Qingxian about this matter another time. However, when Luo Qingxian heard this, it had a different feeling. Luo Qingxian only felt sad and helpless. Then, she adjusted her state of mind and said with anticipation, If you don't miss me, why are you here? Don't be so cold to me, okay? I'm here because I have an appointment with someone, not because I miss what happened that day. If I really miss what happened that day, I'll go to the place where the incident happened. Wang Haoran really wanted to answer this, but he felt that it was a little inappropriate. Luo Qingxian's current favorability was only 60. The reason why she spoke humbly was because she felt guilty. It was okay to give her a cold shoulder for a while, but if it was too much, she might be angry and leave. After all, she was the female lead, and she also wanted to save face. He had to give her a way out. Thinking of this, Wang Haoran changed his mind and immediately acted. I hate myself so much. Why can't I forget you? Hearing this, Luo Qingxian's sadness turned to joy. Actually, I feel the same. She came here because she couldn't let go of this matter. Wang Haoran was as happy as Luo Qingxian, but then he felt guilty and blamed himself. But how can I face Wei Wei? Luo Qingxian took the initiative to take over the matter and said, It's my fault. Let me explain to her. You don't have to worry. Wang Haoran was secretly happy. She was indeed the female lead in Sister Goddess's harem. Her awareness was too high. Okay then. Wang Haoran nodded helplessly and thought of asking Luo Qingxian to leave. So he urged her. Then you should go and find Wei Wei now. Qin Yunhan should be here soon. If Luo Qingxian didn't leave, she would definitely bump into her. There's no hurry. It's the same if I tell Wei Wei later. Luo Qingxian didn't have any intention of leaving. After she finished speaking in a gentle tone, she leaned on a shoulder and smiled. She obviously wanted to spend more time alone with Wang Haoran. Wang Haoran's hearing was amazing. He had already found out that someone was coming from afar. He used his X-ray vision. Who else could it be other than Qin Yunhan? Luo Qingxian's cultivation was weaker, so she hadn't found out yet. Wang Haoran was very anxious, but he couldn't chase her away directly. As he thought of this, he decided to go all out and mess around with her. Someone is coming. Luo Qingxian reminded him. Then what? Wang Haoran asked. Let's hide first. Luo Qingxian panicked. She was a little rude and was embarrassed to meet strangers. Wang Haoran was happy to see that his plan worked. He turned off his phone secretly. Qin Yunhan didn't see anyone when she arrived. She called and found that the phone was turned off. So she waited patiently in the pavilion beside the lotus pond. Wang Haoran and Luo Qingxian hid behind a huge tree by the side of the lotus pond as they waited. Maybe it's a girl who is meeting her boyfriend. She won't leave for a while. Let's leave secretly. Luo Qingxian was ready to change to another place. Wang Haoran didn't respond immediately, because someone else was coming. There were two people, a young man and a young woman, and they weren't ordinary people. Both of them had strong, true qi cultivation. This was especially true for the man. Although his vital energy was only 50 years old, Wang Haoran could keenly sense that his vital energy was even more vigorous than Jiang Gaoxuan's 65 years old vital energy. And the man was younger than Jiang Gaoxian. He wasn't even 20 years old. Although the man was dressed in modern clothes, he had long hair. As he walked, his hands were crossed behind his back. The woman was a few steps behind the man. She lowered her head and followed. The combination of the two gave the impression of a handsome young master and a beautiful maid. Although Jiang Gaoxian was pretentious, at least he wouldn't bring a maid with him. This man was more pretentious than Jiang Gaoxian. Wang Haoran couldn't help but narrow his eyes. He was unhappy. Hey, wait a minute. Someone is coming. Luo Qingxian finally sensed it and reminded Wang Haoran. Soon, the young man and woman came to the lotus pond and appeared in Luo Qingxian's vision. It's him. Luo Qingxian saw the young man from afar and was shocked. Who is this? Wang Haoran asked as his heart shuddered. Chapter 3:12. Hearing Wang Haoran's question, Luo Qingxian tilted her head slightly and shook her head. It's better if you don't know these things. It won't do you any good if you know too much. Wang Haoran was instantly unhappy and said, Why can't I say it? Are you looking down on me because I'm an ordinary person? Of course not. Although you don't practice martial arts, I don't mean to look down on you. Luo Qingxian saw that her lover seemed to be angry and hurriedly explained. Then, she replied to Wang Haoran's previous question. This person is called Yin Yuntian. He comes from a secluded martial arts sect called Fengxi Mountain. His father is the head of a financial group with hundreds of billions of assets in the secular world. His mother is the current leader of Fengxi Mountain. Wang Haoran was shocked. This background sounds so impressive. It's even more impressive than mine. He contacted the system and checked on Yin Yuntian. Protagonist, Yin Yuntian, combat power, realm 3662, neutralizing master. Charm, 318. Protagonist aura, 5263. Skill, golden finger, unlimited push aura. Note, after seducing the female protagonist by force, the female protagonist will forgive you and increase her favorability to the maximum. Fatal damage, rebound, aura. Note 1. When receiving fatal damage, there is an 80% chance of immunity and the damage will be reflected back to the opponent. Note 2. When the protagonist aura points are lower than 2,000, this aura will be ineffective. Damn, he's a F** king protagonist. After Wang Haoran saw Yin Yuntian's information, he suddenly felt his scalp go numb. He saw that Yin Yuntian was so pretentious and had such a strong background. He thought that he was a supervillain, but it turned out that he was a protagonist. Moreover, that aura was so unreasonable that it was the most ridiculous protagonist that Wang Haoran had ever encountered. The unlimited push aura allowed Yin Yuntian to transform into a bulldozer and push down whoever he wanted. He could use force to push them down, and there were no side effects. After that, he could also increase the favorability of the female protagonist to the maximum. Seeing this halo, Wang Haoran immediately had the urge to kill Yin Yuntian on the spot. He possessed 100 years' worth of true qi and was a neutralizing grandmaster. His combat power was close to 5,000, which was much higher than Yin Yuntian's. However, when Wang Haoran saw the fatal damage recoil aura, he immediately flinched. There was an 80% chance of nullifying and rebounding fatal damage. In other words, if he were to kill Yin Yuntian, there was an 80% chance that he would kill himself. There was only a 20% chance that he could kill Yin Yuntian. Was this even a bet? Of course not. F***CK. Wang Haoran had met so many protagonists, but he had never hated them as much as he did now. While Wang Haoran was thinking, Yin Yuntian and the maid arrived at the small pavilion by the lotus pond and met Qin Yunhan face to face. When Qin Yunhan saw the two unfamiliar people, she was surprised. She thought that they were a couple here for a date, so she prepared to leave and wait for Wang Haoran somewhere else by the lotus pond. Little sister Yunhan, don't you recognize me? Just as Qin Yunhan was about to leave, Yin Yuntian smiled and said, You are. Qin Yunhan was surprised. She looked at the person in front of her, but she could not remember where she had seen him before. Many years ago we met. According to seniority, I am your cousin, Yin Yuntian explained. Qin Yunhan was stunned. Some vague memories from long ago appeared in her mind. Then, she was pleasantly surprised. Didn't my mother say that she was coming to look for me? Why are you here? Where is she? Second, Anne has some matters to attend to, so she won't be here for a few days. So, I came to see you in advance and inform you. Yin Yuntian said. Is that so? Qin Yunhan was slightly disappointed, but she immediately cheered up. Then I will tell my father and ask him to take good care of you. Since you are here, You must have fun in Qingling for a while. That's what I plan to do. Yin Yuntian smiled and nodded. Then, he said, then I will have to trouble little sister Yunhan to be my guide during this time. I'm afraid I can't do that. I have classes. Qin Yunhan declined politely. There will be a time when you have a holiday. Yin Yuntian smiled. Of course, Qin Yunhan did not want to agree. During her holidays, she had to spend time with her boyfriend. How could she have time to be a guide? But on the surface, she said, I have to study too. I don't go out much. I'm afraid I can't be your guide. Can't you accompany me for a while? Yin Yuntian asked. Qin Yunhan looked at the girl beside her. Don't you have this sister to accompany you? I won't disturb the two of you. You misunderstood. This is not my girlfriend. She's just my maid. Yin Yuntian smiled and immediately explained. So this sister is a maid. Qin Yunhan was surprised for a moment, but then she felt relieved. Because her mother lived in a different world, it was normal for her cousin to have a maid. So, can you be my guide now? Yin Yuntian continued the topic. I still can't. I have to spend time with my boyfriend during the holidays. Qin Yunhan had no choice but to say so. Little sister Yunhan, you really know how to joke. I know you don't have a boyfriend. You don't even have any male friends. How could you have a boyfriend? Yin Yuntian seemed to have seen through everything. Qin Yunhan was stunned when she heard this. Am I right? The smile on Yin Yuntian's face was even more intense. Oh, if you don't believe me, then forget it. After being stunned, Qin Yunhan also smiled. Yin Yuntian didn't give up. He wanted Qin Yunhan to be his guide. But when he was about to say something, Yuning spoke first. Young master, since the cousin is not willing to be a guide, then forget it. Yin Yuntian frowned. Yuning knew what he was thinking. She came here for Qin Yunhan. Why would she stop him? Could it be he suddenly had a bad feeling? Tell me, I want to know. Yin Yuntian clenched his teeth and said something inexplicable to Yuning. Yuning planned to tell Yin Yuntian privately, but Yin Yuntian's expression showed that he wanted to know now. She didn't dare to disobey, so she whispered something in Yin Yuntian's ear. After Yin Yuntian heard it, his handsome face showed a ferocious look. Ding! The host indirectly caused the protagonist, Yin Yuntian's mentality, to be damaged. Gained 1,000 villain points. Yin Yuntian's protagonist, aura -50. Host villain, aura, +50. Ding! The host indirectly caused the protagonist, Yin Yuntian's mentality, to be damaged. Gained 2,000 villain points. Yin Yuntian's protagonist, aura -100. Host villain, aura, +100. Ding! The host indirectly caused the protagonist, Yin Yuntian's mentality, to be damaged. Gained 3,000 villain points. Yin Yuntian's protagonist, aura -150. Host villain, aura, +150. Chapter 313. Wang Haoran received a large wave of rewards. He couldn't help but be stunned for a moment, then immediately revealed a strange smile. Although he was far away from Yin Yuntian, he could read his lips with his X-ray vision. Wang Haoran knew what the person said over there. Even the maid whispered to Yin Yuntian. The general meaning of the whisper was that Qin Yunhan was no longer a virgin. After Yin Yuntian heard it, his whole face twisted. Obviously, he had thoughts about Qin Yunhan, and his obsession was very deep. Wang Haoran saw Yin Yuntian's ferocious look in his eyes, and inexplicably felt very good. In the distance, Qin Yunhan didn't know what the maid said to Yin Yuntian, but she saw the terrible look on Yin Yuntian's face after hearing it. She was so scared that she took a few steps back. The ferocious look on Yin Yuntian's face came and went quickly. Or to be more precise, he restrained it very quickly. Since you have something to do, then I won't force you. Yin Yuntian changed his words. Okay, then I'll find another guide for you. Qin Yunhan asked politely. No need. Yin Yuntian's expression was cold. The way he looked at Qin Yunhan also became a little colder. Although his obsession with Qin Yunhan was very deep, after knowing that she was not a pure white paper, his thoughts faded a lot. Because, in Yin Yuntian's view, things or people that have been owned by others have become worthless. How could he care about it? Qin Yunhan saw that Yin Yuntian was very strange and didn't want to continue talking with him. Bye. Qin Yunhan also said lightly, and then left Yin Yuntian's sight. She was ready to change to another place and continue to wait for Wang Haoren. Yuning, is this how you do things? Yin Yuntian's face was covered with frost, and he questioned. Young master, I don't know why it is like this. Maybe it's the cousin's boyfriend, and this happened recently. Yuning trembled. Go investigate. I want to know who it is, Yin Yuntian said coldly. Although he gave up the idea of dating Qin Yunhan, he couldn't take it lying down. He would never let go of the person who took the lead. Wang Haoren recognized Yin Yuntian's words from afar. He had an impulse to jump out and kill Yin Yuntian. But in the end, he was still forced to retreat by the fatal damage recoil halo. An 80% chance was simply too high. If he were to kill Yin Yuntian, there was a high possibility that he would be courting death. Yes, young master. Yuning nodded and quietly walked in the direction of Qin Yunhan. Yin Yuntian stood in place for a while, then suddenly slapped the pavilion's pillar with his palm. With a sway of his body, he appeared a few dozen feet away. His figure continued to shrink until it finally disappeared from sight. Crack, crack. As for the pillar that had just been hit by his palm, dense cracks began to slowly spread out. With a loud bang, the entire pavilion collapsed, causing a cloud of dust to rise. This Yin Yuntian is much stronger than Jiang Gaoxian. Luo Qingxian, who was hiding behind the tree, saw this scene and couldn't help but blurt out. Her eyes were filled with fear. Stronger than Jiang Gaoxian naturally meant that he was stronger than her. Thinking of this, Luo Qingxian's eyes became more worried. After Jiang Gaoxian disappeared that day, she didn't know if he was hiding in the dark, plotting something to harm her. Luo Qingxian was naturally very worried. And now, there was an even stronger Yin Yuntian. She hoped that there wouldn't be any conflict with him. Otherwise, it would be even worse. Putting away her thoughts, Luo Qingxian said to Wang Haoren beside her, Let's find another place where no one will disturb us, and then we can talk. I suddenly remembered that I still have homework to do. I need to go back and do it. Wang Haoren wanted to, but now he was anxious about another matter. Is homework more important than me? Luo Qingxian frowned and said jealously. Wang Haoren comforted her. If two people love each other for a long time, they won't be together all the time. There will be many opportunities to get along in the future. Also, I hope that you can go back as soon as possible and explain Wei Wei. Otherwise, I will feel uneasy. Okay, then I will go back and find Wei Wei. Luo Qingxian felt that it made sense, so she agreed and left in a hurry. Wang Haoren heaved a sigh of relief and then went in the direction that Qin Yunhan left. After leaving the lotus pond, Qin Yunhan came to the campus path with maple trees on both sides. It was September, and the maple leaves were gradually turning red. The scenery on this maple leaf path was very pleasant. Qin Yunhan sat on the bench on the path and used her mobile phone to contact Wang Haoren, and in a place where Qin Yunhan didn't notice. Yin Yuntian's maid was watching her every move. But in a place where both of them couldn't see, Wang Haoren used his X-ray vision to see all of this in his eyes. Wang Haoren first turned on his mobile phone and then sent a message to Qin Yunhan, asking her to go to the seafood restaurant outside the school for dinner. Qin Yunhan received the message and immediately got up and prepared to go outside the school. The maid followed Qin Yunhan from afar. Wang Haoren arrived at a path that everyone had to take to leave the academy in advance. When he turned the corner, he bumped into the maidservant who was passing by. You. The maid was unhappy and was about to reprimand him, but after seeing a handsome face, she couldn't help but be stunned. Her heart started to beat rapidly. Sorry, Wang Haoren said apologetically, and at the same time secretly communicated with the system and issued a command. Ding! The host successfully used the charm aura on the supporting female lead Yuning, raising Yuning's favorability to the maximum value. Wang Haoren immediately received a system prompt and was secretly happy. The instigation was a success. Yuning's eyes that were originally stunned by Wang Haoren also became intoxicated and obsessed. After a long time, Yuning realized that she lost her composure and quickly apologized. I'm sorry, I almost bumped into you. It doesn't matter. Wang Haoren smiled, and then said, You are called Yuning, right? You, how do you know? Yuning was surprised. I have actually seen you a long time ago, but you don't know me. Wang Haoran said, and I also know Yin Yin Tan. You shouldn't be a person of the hidden world, right? Yuning was surprised, because she didn't perceive any true energy fluctuations from Wang Haoran's body. Aware of Yuning's thoughts, Wang Haoran gently grabbed Yuning's hand. Yuning was shocked, because she felt a surge of true energy like the mountains and rivers of the sea. The strength of his true energy was much stronger than Yin Yintian's. Who are you? Yuning was shocked. The person in front of her was younger than Yin Yintian, but he had such a strong, true energy cultivation. He was the strongest martial arts genius she had met in these years. Who I am is not important. What is important is that I came for you, Wang Haoran said in a bewitching tone. Yuning's eyes widened in disbelief, and her heart was set off stormy waves. Her mind was haunted by a thought, that is, I am willing to do anything for the person in front of me. Even if he wants me to die, I will have no regrets. Chapter 314. How can I be qualified to be favored by you? Yuning didn't dare to look straight into Wang Haoran's eyes. She lowered her head and said shyly, So, are you willing to be my woman in the future? Wang Haoran was too lazy to be long-winded and went straight to the point. Of course I am willing. Yuning blurted out, From now on, I will listen to whatever you ask me to do. Very good. Wang Haoran nodded with a smile, and then asked about some specific information about Yin Yintian. From this, Wang Haoran learned that Yin Yintian was practicing a type of martial art called mastery, unfettered skill. To practice this martial art, before reaching the level of little grandmaster, one needed to practice hard and maintain a virgin body. But once one reached the level of little grandmaster, one would no longer have any scruples. Even increasing one's cultivation level would become very easy and happy. To sum it up, one would become stronger as long as they were XX. When Wang Haoran learned this information, he had the urge to curse on the spot. This Yin Yintian turned out to be a domineering evil prince, the protagonist of the story. With his unlimited aura and the supreme freedom art, it was simply a perfect combination. As long as the female protagonist couldn't beat Yin Yintian, she could be taken in by him. But the only thing that comforted Wang Haoran was that Yuning said that Yin Yintian had just reached the level of little grandmaster, and his first target was Qin Yunhan. Of course, Qin Yunhan was no longer the target. Yin Yintian, the bulldozer, didn't have time to move. Secretly give this to Yin Yintian. Wang Haoran handed a pill to Yuning. The protagonist Yang Wuxian, Jiang Gaoxian, Liu Beige, Gu Nanfeng, and Shun Yixing had all eaten this before. Wang Haoran always carried this essential item with him to deal with the protagonist. It was convenient for him to use it at any time. But Yin Yuntian's cultivation level was not low. It would be troublesome for him to make a move. It was much easier to let Yuning do it. This was one of the reasons why Wang Haoran came to stop Yuning. What medicine is this? Yuning asked curiously. I'm doing this for your safety. Wang Haoran did not hide it and whispered to Yuning. After taking this medicine, Yin Yintian will lose his ability in that area. I will do this well. After Yuning listened, she was surprised at first, and then nodded solemnly. She knew that Yin Yintian had feelings for her. Right now, her mind was filled with Wang Haoran, so naturally, she would not allow Yin Yintian to touch her. Wang Haoran nodded, then asked, You've been Yin Yintian's maid for so long, have you? Yuning quickly explained, Of course not. Before he had become a Huajing master, he had never even thought of such a thing. Yun Xian and I didn't even have our fingers touched by him. In order to prevent Yin Yintian from failing in his cultivation, he even made us talk through the door. In daily life, it was the male servants who took care of him. That would be wonderful. Wang Haoran smiled secretly. The protagonist was virtuous and had misophobia. As a villain, he also had it, but he did not like to wear broken shoes. Yuning was quite beautiful, with an average score of 92 points. Compared to the standard of the female protagonist, she was just a little bit worse. The Yunxian you're talking about is... Wang Haoran mentioned a name that Yuning just said. She's the same as me, also a maid, but she's in Fengxi Mountain, so she didn't follow. Yu Ning replied. Wang Hao nodded secretly. When he saw Yun Xian, the cooldown time of the charm aura would be over. At that time, Yun Xian would also rebel. As the saying goes, good things come in pairs. You seem to be following someone. Why is that? Wang Hao asked another question. Yu Ning's purpose of following Qin Yunhan, of course, he knew, but he wanted to use this as a pretext to make a fuss, so he asked more. It's like this. Yu Ning said it in full detail. This Yin Yuntian is too bad. She found a boyfriend, but it's none of his business. He actually wants to harm her. Wang Hao complained. His background is deep, his cultivation is high, his personality is overbearing, and he's very self-centered. Why would he care about these things? Qin Yunhan's boyfriend. He will definitely not let it go easily. Yu Ning sighed. Wang Hao suddenly fell into deep thought. If Yu Ning did not give him an explanation, Yin Yuntian would definitely not give up easily. At present, if it was not necessary, he did not intend to confront Yin Yuntian directly. Then, in this way, he needed a scapegoat. But who would be the scapegoat? After thinking for a while, Wang Hao's eyes lit up and whispered in Yu Ning's ear, "You go and reply to Yin Yuntian like this, at night." Yu Ning returned to a simple-style big house. This big house was bought in advance by Yin Yuntian, so that when Yin Yuntian came to Qingling to find Qin Yunhan in the future, he would have a comfortable place to stay. At this time, Yin Yuntian was sitting in the courtyard. Yu Ning tried to suppress the nervousness in her heart, brought a cup of tea, and handed it to Yin Yuntian. The tea leaves were brought from Fengshi Mountain, and Yin Yuntian liked it very much. Yin Yuntian took the cup, took a sip of the hot tea, and asked aloud, "Did you find out?" "Found out," Yu Ning solemnly replied. "Who is it?" Yin Yuntian asked. "It's a person called Lin Shun, about 8 years old." Yu Ning said. 8 years old. Yin Yuntian was stunned for a moment, and then felt that it was a bit ridiculous. An 8-year-old child? Young master, although this Lin Shun is only 8 years old, but he is not simple. He won the championship of the professional race, and in just a few days, with a small amount of money, he earned 100 million from the stock market. Yu Ning said, and took out all the information about Lin Shun, as well as the proof of his achievements. Yin Yuntian took the information and carefully read it, and suddenly his eyes narrowed. Although this Lin Shun was 8 years old, he was really not simple and was better than many adults. It was not impossible to capture Qin Yunhan's heart. But this Lin Shun is only 8 years old. How? Yin Yuntian still had a trace of doubt. Young master, 8 years old is a bit young, but that kind of thing, there's still many ways. Yu Ning guided his thoughts. Yin Yuntian nodded in agreement. Young master, how do you plan to deal with this matter? Do you need me to do anything? Yu Ning asked tentatively. No need. Yin Yuntian shook his head, drank the tea, and quickly left the big house, his figure blending into the night. Ding! The host destroyed the protagonist Yin Yuntian's manhood ability, gained 3,000 villain points. Yin Yuntian's protagonist aura minus 150. The host villain aura plus 150. Ding! Yin Yuntian lost his manhood ability. The unlimited push aura is ineffective. Ding! The host greatly affected the direction of the plot, gained 3,000 villain points. The action is quite fast. Wang Hao, who was eating seafood with Qin Yunhan in the restaurant, could not help but smile. Chapter 315. What are you laughing at? Qin Yunhan saw the strange smile on Wang Hao's face and couldn't help but be surprised. I'm happy to eat seafood with you. Wang Hao, of course, wouldn't tell her the real reason, but he found a reason to fool her. I'm happy too. Qin Yunhan heard, and her beautiful face couldn't help but reveal a strong sense of joy. After eating, I won't go back to the dormitory. After saying that, she gave Wang Hao a look that said, you know what I mean. Wang Hao understood and nodded with a smile in response to Qin Yunhan. His heart was once again immersed in the joy of receiving the news. There were too many female protagonists in Qingling. Yin Yuntian, the main character, was a big hidden danger here. But now, this hidden danger didn't exist anymore. Yin Yuntian didn't have the ability of a man now. Even if he saw the female protagonist, he couldn't do anything. Moreover, Yin Yuntian's mastery carefree skill couldn't be improved anymore. He would stop at neutral strength master. Wang Haoren could kill Yin Yuntian at this level. Of course, if Yin Yuntian didn't have the fatal damage rebounding halo. To get rid of Yin Yuntian, the main character, he had to reduce his protagonist aura to below 2000. Then, the fatal damage rebounding halo would lose its effect. To do this wasn't something that could be done in a short period of time, but it was only a matter of time. Previously, Lin Shun had the undying and imperishable halo, but now, if his protagonist aura was reduced to below 1000, he wouldn't be a threat. Wang Haoren and Qin Yunhan finished eating the seafood and prepared to take her to the villa to talk about life and dreams. On the way, Ding, the host, manipulated behind the scenes, causing the main character Lin Shun to be killed by the main character Yin Yuntian. Reward: 3,000 villain points. The sudden news caused Wang Haoren to be stunned. Lin Shun was dead. Wang Haoren wanted to find a scapegoat, so he suddenly thought of using Lin Shun as the scapegoat. So, he let Yu Ning spread false news. However, Wang Haoren did not have much hope for this. After all, Lin Shun was only 8 years old. Even if Yin Yuntian believed him, Lin Shun could still explain himself when he attacked Lin Shun. After all, he really had nothing to do with Qin Yunhan. But now he was dead. Could it be that Yin Yuntian was so tyrannical that he didn't even give Lin Shun a chance to explain himself? It seemed that other than this situation, there was no other possibility. This result was out of Wang Haoren's expectations. He originally wanted to slowly take advantage of Lin Shun. Now the sheep were all gone. There was a lot of damage and distortion. However, from another point of view, this result was still very acceptable. Lin Shun still had a powerful elder sister who had yet to show herself. Yin Yuntian killing Lin Shun was equivalent to offending this mysterious big sister. If this big sister were to appear, she would definitely be able to sow discord and create a huge problem for Yin Yuntian. Apart from that, Wang Haoren had also tested out a new way to deal with the protagonist, provoking the protagonists to fight against each other. Sit back and reap the benefits. It was a pity that there was no protagonist who was on par with Yin Yuntian. For example, Yi Qiu, Xiao Yi, and Fang Heng, they were just sheep. Wang Haoren wanted to keep them to produce sheep. Naturally, you wouldn't let them die. Why did you suddenly stop? Qin Yunhan saw Wang Haoren standing there in a daze and couldn't help but ask curiously. I suddenly remembered something. I need to do something. You go to the villa first. I will come back later. Wang Haoren said, Okay, I will live broadcast my chicken dinner while waiting for you to come back. Qin Yunhan nodded obediently. Wang Haoren first sent Qin Yunhan to the villa and then went out. The moon was dark and the wind was strong. Yin Yuntian returned to the big house. On his face, there was still a trace of cruelty and coldness. After Yu Ning saw it, she couldn't help but feel a faint sense of fear. She asked tentatively, Young master, is the matter resolved? Yes. Yin Yuntian nodded. There was still some depression in his eyes that could not be erased. Although he killed Qin Yunhan's boyfriend, the obsession in his heart still remained. This was a pity for him. However, what had happened could not be undone. In that case, he could only do some happy things and forget about the unhappiness. Thinking like this, Yin Yuntian's eyes fell on Yu Ning. Under the light, Yu Ning stood quietly, making people feel a rush of excitement. I am in a bad mood. You accompany me, Yin Yuntian said. Hearing this, Yu Ning's body trembled, and a strong sense of resistance rose from the bottom of her heart. At the same time, there was a deep disgust for Yin Yuntian. Her heart was already filled with another person. Even if she killed herself, she would keep her innocence. She would never let Yin Yuntian succeed. Yu Ning knew that with her true qi cultivation, it was absolutely impossible to persuade Yin Yuntian. Therefore, in her heart, she was ready to die. But at this moment, Yin Yuntian's covetous eyes gradually turned into surprise, because he noticed that there was a lack of feeling in a certain aspect. Yu Ning was so beautiful, and he was indeed moved, but it was just a move. It was reasonable to say that it should not be just a move. There should be movement in other places. I don't need you to accompany me. I want to be alone. Yin Yun Tian suddenly changed his words. Yu Ning heard the words, and her face showed joy, but she quickly restrained it. Yin Yun Tian's attention was on other things, so he did not notice the change in Yu Ning's expression. He just turned silently and went to his bedroom. He didn't know what to do. Yu Ning breathed a sigh of relief and returned to her room. However, as soon as she stepped into the room, she saw a figure that made her happy. Yu Ning asked, "Why are you here?" "Of course, I am here to see you." Wang Haoran coaxed her. With a simple sentence, Yu Ning was a little dizzy. Just now, Yin Yun Tian had thoughts about me. Fortunately, he suddenly changed his mind. Yu Ning was scared and couldn't help but say to Wang Haoran, "Nothing will happen." Wang Haoran smiled. Just now, the conversation between Yin Yun Tian and Yu Ning, he actually saw it. Did the medicine you gave him work so fast? Yin Yun Tian is really useless. Yu Ning felt a little embarrassed, so she euphemistically said, "Of course." Wang Haoran smiled strangely and nodded, because he saw with his X-ray vision that Yin Yun Tian was studying himself in the room and found his own problems. Soon, he became crazy and began to vent his anger in the room. Ding, the host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Yin Yun Tian's mentality to be damaged, gained 1,000 villain points. Yin Yun Tian protagonist aura -50, host villain aura +50. Ding, the host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Yin Yun Tian's mentality to be damaged, gained 2,000 villain points. Yin Yun Tian protagonist aura -100, host villain aura +100. Ding, the host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Yin Yun Tian's mentality to be damaged, gained 3,000 villain points. Yin Yun Tian protagonist aura -150, host villain aura +150. After being happy for a while, Wang Haoran inquired about the business. "You have been in Fengxi Mountain for so long, you should know the people around Yin Yun Tian very well. Around him, is there that kind of particularly beautiful and outstanding young woman?" There were many women in Fengxi Mountain, and there was likely to be a female protagonist. So Wang Haoran asked, "In our Fengxi Mountain, there's a hidden beauty." Yu Ning's eyes showed admiration and envy as she responded. Chapter 316. The Number 1 Beauty of the Hidden Jianghu. Hearing this title, Wang Haoran's heart was stirred, and his eyes couldn't help but light up. He asked, "Tell me in detail about this number 1 beauty." Seeing Wang Haoran's surprised reaction, Yu Ning was stunned and asked subconsciously, "Your cultivation is so high, you must be a big shot in the hidden Jianghu. Why don't you even know the number 1 beauty of the hidden Jianghu?" Wang Haoran was stunned. Of course, he didn't know, but he wouldn't say it out loud. After thinking about it, he said, "In the hidden Jianghu, I only paid attention to you. How could I pay attention to other women? And how could I pay attention to this number 1 beauty of the hidden Jianghu? With your words, even if I die immediately, I will die without regrets." Yu Ning was happy and touched when she heard it. After a long time, she finally calmed down a little and replied to Wang Haoran. She's Feng Xuansu, 20 years old. She was originally the daughter of the sect master of another hidden sect, but for some unknown reason, her sect was completely annihilated overnight, and she was the only one who survived. A few years ago, she joined the Fengxi Mountain and was recognized as a sister by the current master of the Fengxi Mountain. In the hidden Jianghu, I don't know how many men want to marry Feng Xuansu. Wang Haoran listened, nodded slowly, and sighed casually. The number 1 beauty of the hidden Jianghu. Any man who marries her will probably feel proud. This is only part of the reason. Yu Ning said, "Oh, is there any other benefit to marrying Feng Xuansu?" Wang Haoran was surprised. Of course. Feng Xuansu is the daughter of the sect master of a once glorious sect. Although the sect is no longer there, many cultivation resources of the sect have been preserved. For example, there are all kinds of heavenly treasures that are beneficial to cultivation, as well as all kinds of wonderful cultivation methods and martial arts. Yu Ning explained, "Whoever marries Feng Xuansu, in addition to the beauty, can also obtain these precious cultivation resources." Wang Haoren was slightly puzzled. Did Feng Xuanzu not hand over these resources when she joined the Phoenix Creek Mountain? Yuning shook her head. Fengshi Mountain didn't make any such request, but Feng Xuanzu was grateful for the protection of Fengshi Mountain, so she took the initiative to take out some. Although it wasn't much, it was enough to improve the overall strength of Fengshi Mountain by a lot. Most of the cultivation resources are still with Feng Xuanzu. After listening to Yuning, Wang Haoren could completely understand the attraction of Feng Xuanzu. If Feng Xuanzu were to be placed in the secular world, she would be the most beautiful and wealthy woman in the world. If anyone could capture Feng Xuanzu's heart, it could be said that they would gain both wealth and beauty, instantly reaching the pinnacle of life. Yuning added, however, Feng Xuanzu's vision is too high. She looks down on the so-called young talents in the secluded Jianghu. Even Jiang Gaoxian, the top of the hidden dragon of Phoenix list, is far from her eyes. Wang Haoren did not find this strange at all. Who the hell was Jiang Gaoxian? He was just a villain with a mocking face. How could a top female lead like Feng Xuanzu take a fancy to him? Wang Haoren suddenly thought of something and said, you just said that Feng Xuanzu is the sister of Fengshi Mountain's Mountain Master. Then, isn't she Yin Yuntian's aunt? Although Feng Xuanzu is 20 years old, in terms of seniority, she is indeed Yin Yuntian's aunt, Yuning said. How is this a main character? This is simply a beast. Wang Haoren secretly cursed. This Feng Xuanzu was obviously the female lead in Yin Yuntian's storyline. Since she was the female lead, with Yin Yuntian's bulldozer character, he would definitely have thoughts about his aunt Feng Xuanzu. If this was not a beast, then what was? By the way, Feng Xuanzu should be coming to Qingling in the next few days to visit her second sister, Feng Yun's daughter. Perhaps you will be able to meet her then, Yuning reported again. Feng Yun's daughter is Qin Yunhan? Wang Haoren heard the name Feng Yun, and his heart skipped a beat. He muttered to himself. This was because he had heard the name of Qin Yunhan's mother from Fengrong, who wanted to kidnap Qin Yunhan. Yes, it's Qin Yunhan. Yuning nodded in response and continued. Feng Xuanzu visiting Qin Yunhan is only one of the reasons. The other reason is that she will help Qin Yunhan check if she has the talent for cultivation. If she does, she will bring Qin Yunhan back to Feng Yun at Fengshi Mountain directly. Then, there will be no need for Feng Yun to come to Qingling. Hearing this, Wang Haoren's expression suddenly became strange. Qin Yunhan was the female lead and had the background of a martial arts sect. Without waiting for the test, Wang Haoren was sure that Qin Yunhan most likely had the talent for cultivation, and it was very strong, because he had seen this too many times. In that case, after Feng Xuanzu was done with the test, wouldn't she bring Qin Yunhan back to Fengshi Mountain? Qin Yunhan would definitely not agree. Then he would jump out to stop her and roar, 30 years, 30 years, what a joke. He was the villain, and this line had nothing to do with him. But with Yuning's loyalty, she would never spread false information. If this plot was not his, then who was the protagonist? Wang Haoren pondered for a moment. If he did not interfere and affect the plot, Yin Yuntian would definitely come out to stop her. But now the plot had changed. Yin Yuntian had no interest in Qin Yunhan, so he would not interfere. In other words, Qin Yunhan's trouble was still on his head. What should he do? Let Feng Xuanzu fake it and say that Qin Yunhan did not have the talent for martial arts. Why should he do that? Because he was handsome? Make Feng Xuanzu dizzy? Make her lie? That was obviously impossible. Feng Xuanzu was the #1 beauty in the hidden world, and she also had the cultivation resources left behind by a huge sect. There were many handsome guys pursuing her. It was nonsense to want to win over Feng Xuanzu with just a face, using 30,000 villain points to exchange for a love at first sight card. Wang Haoren had this thought in his mind, but he quickly dismissed it. It was too extravagant to spend 30,000 villain points to solve this problem. And the 30,000 villain points that he spent might not be able to be earned back from Feng Xuanzu. Moreover, Yin Yuntian's initial protagonist aura was more than 5,000. Feng Xuanzu was the female lead in his storyline, and the female lead aura might be more than 3,000. If he exchanged for the love at first sight card and found that he could not use it, then he would be dumbfounded. Could it be that he could only use force? Wang Haoran thought of another plan. But to be honest, it was very simple to use force to send Feng Xuanzu away. However, the impact would be too great, and it would cause trouble in the future. After Feng Xuanzu was sent away, she would definitely go to Fengxi Mountain to get reinforcements. At that time, wave after wave of people would come, and it would be very annoying. Chapter 317. After asking Yuning some questions, Wang Haoran continued to stay for more than an hour before leaving and preparing to return to the villa. When he arrived at the villa area, Bu Fian came out from the shadows and reported Yiqiu also bought a villa nearby and posted an advertisement online for rent. Wang Haoran smiled. This Yiqiu was really persistent when it came to finding beautiful tenants. That old building was about to be demolished, and he couldn't wait to build a new one, so he directly bought a villa for rent. Well done, Wang Haoran praised, then said, help me do one more thing. What is it? Bu Fian asked. Will you set on fire? Wang Haoran smiled mysteriously. Back at the villa, Qin Yunhan was streaming a PUBG game. Oh, you're back. I won't play then. Seeing that Wang Haoran was back, Qin Yunhan was no longer in the mood to stream and wanted to stop. Wang Haoran stopped her and then asked, did you get matched with a noob when you streamed the game? No. Qin Yunhan shook her head. Then continue streaming the game, Wang Haoran said. He ordered Jiang Gaoxian to secretly sabotage Xiao Ye's stream, but he didn't receive the reward for sabotaging Xiao Ye's stream. Obviously, Xiao Ye was busy with other things and wasn't streaming. Of course, Wang Haoran hoped that Qin Yunhan would continue her live stream. That way, Xiao Ye could follow her live stream and gain popularity. But I don't want to stream anymore. I want to chat with you. Qin Yunhan gave him a look. Wang Haoran understood and sat down next to Qin Yunhan. You can stream your game. It won't affect me. Huh? Qin Yunhan was stunned. She looked at Wang Haoran strangely and then turned off the live broadcast. Anyway, she was a noob streamer and did not have any gaming skills to speak of. Even if she turned off the live broadcast, no one would be able to tell from her gaming skills that she was distracted by other things. Qin Yunhan struggled to finish the first round of chicken dinner and then began to regroup. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes and destroyed the main character Xiao Ye's live broadcast environment. The reward is 800 villain points. Xiao Ye's main character aura -40. The host's villain aura +40. Wang Haoran was secretly amused. It seemed like Xiao Ye started streaming again after seeing that Qin Yunhan was matched. However, it was obviously ruined by Jiang Gaoxian. He just didn't know if Jiang Gaoxian was trying to break Xiao Ye's net, or if he was pretending to be a ghost to scare Xiao Ye, or something else. As for which kind, Wang Haoran didn't care. This was because his attention was completely focused on Qin Yunhan. Late at night, Qin Yunhan, who had fallen asleep due to exhaustion, was like a block of ice all over her body. Traces of frost appeared on her lips and eyelashes. Wang Haoran was surprised and hurriedly used his true qi to help her get rid of this inexplicable frost. However, he found that it didn't work at all. Even when Wang Haoran touched Qin Yunhan's skin, he was attacked by this bone-piercing chill and shivered. This kind of chill was difficult to resist, even with his 100-year true qi. Wang Haoran suddenly became anxious. He wanted to ask the little fairy doctor, Biansuan, who was in the villa a few hundred meters away, to come over and take a look at Qin Yunhan. However, before Wang Haoran could inform her, Qin Yunhan was fine again and returned to normal. Qin Yunhan's even breathing could be heard from her deep sleep, as if nothing had happened. Wang Haoran's expression suddenly became strange. This was because he smelled a kind of cliché. Qin Yunhan's symptoms seemed like an illness, but most likely she had a special cultivation physique. Now, Wang Haoran could be completely sure that Qin Yunhan had the cultivation aptitude. Moreover, this cultivation aptitude was very unusual. It was enough to make Feng Xuanzu even more desperate to bring Qin Yunhan to Fengxi Mountain for her to cultivate. At this moment, there was a burst of fire in the distance outside the window. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the new house bought by Yi Qiu to be burned and affecting the plot. Gained 900 villain points, Yi Qiu's protagonist aura -45, and the host's villain aura +45. Ding! Congratulations to the host's villain aura for exceeding 7,000 points. The system is calculating the reward. Please wait a moment. The first message was completely within Wang Haoran's expectations. The second piece of news, however, gave him a pleasant surprise. He had previously received the reward of 4,000 and 5,000 villain points, but when it exceeded 6,000 points, he didn't receive any reward. Wang Haoran thought that there would be no reward for increasing the villain aura. But now it seemed that it wasn't that there was no reward, but that the requirement to receive the reward had increased. Previously, it was an increase of 1,000 villain points to receive a reward, but now it was an increase of 2,000. And as the villain aura increased, the value would get higher and higher. After Wang Haoran sorted out all this, he looked forward to the new reward. The first time was the social relationship bond card. The second time was the love at first sight card. What would it be this time? Ding! The reward of exceeding 7,000 villain points has been successfully calculated. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the social relationship bond setting card. Just as Wang Haoran was filled with anticipation, the system sent a notification. He quickly opened his backpack to check the introduction. Social relationship bond setting card. Worth 50,000 villain points, the host can set any social bond with a female protagonist. The bonds that can be set are father and daughter, mother and son, sister and brother, master and disciple, ex-girlfriend, lost husband and wife. After the bond is set, it will be triggered after a certain period of time. Seeing the first two bonds, Wang Haoran's eyes almost popped out. Yu Ning said that Feng Xuanzu was only in her 20s. Father and daughter, mother and son. This is too ridiculous, isn't it? Wang Haoran was very curious about what would happen if he chose one of these two relationships. However, he was merely curious. He definitely wouldn't be so stupid as to choose one of these two relationships to verify. After scanning through these bonds, Wang Haoran directly chose to set them as lost husband and wife. Ding! The host has chosen to set the bond of lost husband and wife with a female protagonist, Feng Xuanzu. The bond will take effect after 2,400 hours. The host can choose to wait or use the villain points to accelerate the bond's trigger time. 2,400 hours was equivalent to 100 days. It will be too late by then. Wang Haoran was not willing to wait so long, so he directly ordered, use the villain points to accelerate and increase the time to the minimum. Ding! The host has chosen to use 10,000 villain points to accelerate the bond. The bond will be triggered after 24 hours. Wang Haoran's heart ached. 10,000 villain points, gone just like that. But on second thought, he soon got over it. Yin Yuntian's protagonist aura was very high. The rewards for beating him were also very high. It wouldn't take long for him to earn back these 10,000 villain points. Moreover, Feng Xuanzu, the female protagonist, was very important. With a bond of lost husband and wife, with Feng Xuanzu, it would be much easier to deal with Yin Yuntian. Chapter 3:18. The next day, Qin Yunhan woke up without any abnormalities and went to class as usual. After class in the evening, Qin Yunhan was about to call Mu Zhaozhao for dinner. However, just as she was about to make a call, she saw a beautiful stranger walking towards her. This woman was dressed in modern clothes, but she had the temperament of a classical beauty. Her every frown and smile gave off a feeling that all living things would fall for her. Even though Qin Yunhan was a woman, she still felt a little moved. When Qin Yunhan saw the woman walking straight towards her with a smile, she couldn't help but ask, "Are you looking for me? You and Sister Yin are really alike. Both of you are so beautiful." The woman smiled gently. "Who are you?" Qin Yunhan was very alert. She knew that her mother was Feng Yin. The Sister Yin mentioned by the woman in front of her must be referring to her mother. However, after the incident with Feng Rong, she didn't dare to casually claim kinship. "My name is Feng Xuanzu. Although I'm not much older than you, you should call me Auntie," the woman said in a mature tone. "You'd better show me the evidence first before you claim kinship." Qin Yunhan was very careful. Feng Xuanzu knew about the incident with Feng Rong, so she could understand Qin Yunhan's mentality. After thinking for a while, she said, "I met your father before I came." Qin Yunhan took out her phone and called Qin Kai. After a minute or two, she hung up the phone and the vigilance in her eyes disappeared. "Hello, Auntie. I'm sorry for what happened just now. Please don't treat me as an outsider." After Qin Yunhan confirmed Feng Xuanzu's identity, she became enthusiastic and went forward to grab Feng Xuanzu's hand with a smile. "It's okay." Feng Xuanzu shook her head and smiled. Qin Yunhan invited Feng Xuanzu for a meal. During the meal, she asked a lot of questions about her mother. However, Qin Yunhan still had many questions. However, the mealtime was far from enough for her to ask questions. "Auntie, you don't have a place to stay yet, do you? Let's find a place to stay first, and then continue to chat," Qin Yunhan said excitedly. "All right." Feng Xuanzu naturally did not object. Qin Yunhan took Feng Xuanzu to a nearby hotel to stay. As soon as they arrived at the room, Qin Yunhan wanted to ask Feng Xuanzu another question. However, just as she was about to speak, she suddenly felt a chill down her spine. Qin Yunhan found it strange. The weather was relatively hot, and there was no air conditioning in the room. Why was it so cold? "Yunhan, what's wrong with you?" Feng Xuanzu saw that she was a little abnormal, so she immediately asked, "I don't know why, but I suddenly feel very cold." Qin Yunhan hugged her arms to ward off the cold, but it was useless. She couldn't help but shiver all over. Feng Xuanzu immediately frowned. She went forward to grab her wrist and immediately checked it. "Auntie, I am so cold." In just a short period of time, Qin Yunhan's chill intensified. Frost even appeared on her eyelashes. Feng Xuanzu was shocked. She hastily hugged her, trying to alleviate the chill. However, the moment she touched her, the chill caused Feng Xuanzu to let go of her hand involuntarily. Feng Xuanzu turned pale with fright. Thoughts ran through her mind, and she immediately thought of something. She was pleasantly surprised and flustered. Cold, so cold. The chill on Qin Yunhan's body intensified. Feng Xuanzu saw this and could only feel anxious. There was nothing she could do. However, Qin Yunhan's chill quickly subsided, and she gradually returned to normal. Feng Xuanzu pressed on Qin Yunhan's wrist again, as if she was checking something. "Auntie, what's wrong with me? Did I get some incurable disease?" Qin Yunhan asked in a panic. "Silly, of course not." After Feng Xuanzu was done checking, she also confirmed something. She said excitedly, "I've read in an ancient book that you have a rare martial cultivation physique called the Ice Spirit Physique. As long as you cultivate a suitable cultivation method, you can become a top-notch martial arts expert in the future." "I can become a martial arts expert." Qin Yunhan was immediately overjoyed. Her first thought was to protect the person she loved. Her second thought was to show off to Su Muyan. "Auntie, teach me quickly. Teach me quickly. I want to become a top-notch martial arts expert immediately," Qin Yunhan urged naively. "Yunhan, even if you have such a rare cultivation physique, you still need time to cultivate properly. You can't achieve it overnight." Seeing how easily Qin Yunhan said it, Feng Xuanzu could not help but give her a blow. "If that's the case, how long do I have to cultivate?" Qin Yunhan's joy was slightly reduced as she asked. "Go back to Fengxi Mountain and cultivate for 3 years. In these 3 years, you must concentrate and work hard. You may have to suffer a lot. Only then can you gain a lot," Feng Xuanzu said. "Then forget it." Qin Yunhan immediately lost interest. She had never suffered since she was young. Moreover, she had to be separated from her beloved for 3 years and go to Fengxi Mountain to cultivate. Qin Yunhan was not willing to do such a thing. It was better to stay in school, attend classes, play games, and accompany her boyfriend. It was much more comfortable. "Yunhan, you have such a rare cultivation physique. If you don't cultivate, it will be a pity," Feng Xuanzu hurriedly advised. "Auntie, everyone has their own ambitions." Qin Yunhan smiled. Feng Xuanzu said, "To tell you the truth, Fengxi Mountain has just stabilized. Sister Yin can't leave for the time being. I came to see you with the intention of making a trip on behalf of Sister Yin. Other than that, The most important thing is to see if you are suitable for cultivation. If you are, I will bring you back to Fengxi Mountain directly. This is what Sister Yin told me before she came. So Mom might not have come to see me. Qin Yunhan couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. I will bring you back to Fengxi Mountain. It will be the same. Feng Xuanzu comforted. But I don't want to leave Qingling. Qin Yunhan was in a difficult position. You have been separated from Sister Yun for so long. Don't you want to see her? Of course I do, but Qin Yunhan suddenly stopped and did not continue. Feng Xuanzu guessed Qin Yunhan's thoughts and said, You can't let go of your father? You don't have to worry about that. Your father has already said that he will make a trip. Qin Yunhan was in a dilemma and felt irritated. Anyway, I don't want to leave here. Let's wait for Mom to come. Anyway, we have been separated for so long. A little while is not a big deal. Feng Xuanzu was sensitive. She could tell that something was wrong with Qin Yunhan and asked, Other than your father, who else is worth your concern? Annie, you are also a woman. You know, Qin Yunhan said vaguely, because a certain someone had told her not to mention anything about them being together. Without a certain someone's permission, of course, she would not talk about it. However, Feng Xuanzu kept asking, so Qin Yunhan could only vaguely reveal some information. But after Feng Xuanzu heard it, she frowned. Chapter 319. Late at night, Wang Haoran, who was about to go to sleep, received a call from Luo Qingqian asking him out for a meeting. Wang Haoran got dressed and went out. He was very energetic, and it didn't matter if he slept less. Since Luo Qingqian was so interested, he had to accompany her. Luo Qingqian arranged to meet him at a lake not far from the Qingling campus. Wang Haoran was familiar with this place. Previously, in order to coax Su Mayan, he had even jumped into the lake once. Filled with excitement, Wang Haoran hurried to the lakeside. He didn't realize that Luo Qingqian was so wild to meet him at such a place. But thinking about it, it was quite exciting. However, after meeting him, Wang Haoran was dumbfounded. Besides Luo Qingqian, Lin Shun was also at the lake. Of course, it was Lin Shun who was lying on the ground beside the lake. Luo Qingqian rushed into Wang Haoran's arms and cried when she saw him. Wang Haoran comforted her and asked about it. He then found out that Luo Qingqian and her sisters had split up to look for Lin Shun after knowing that he was missing. Luo Qingqian was the first to find him. But by the time she found him, Lin Shun was already dead. She was devastated and didn't dare to inform the other sisters immediately. She informed Wang Haoran first. Qingqian, my condolences. Wang Haoran comforted Luo Qingqian as he hugged her and looked at Lin Shun, who was lying on the ground. That Yin Tian, I will send him to meet you sooner or later. As for your 7 sisters, I will reluctantly take care of them. So rest in peace. Wang Haoran said in his heart. At this moment, his phone vibrated again. It was a message from Qin Yunhan asking him where he was. It was late at night, and none of them were sleeping. Wang Haoran complained secretly. He wanted to ask Qin Yunhan to rest and not come out to meet him. But on second thought, he sent her a message to ask her to come out. And the location of the meeting was this lake. However, Wang Haoran didn't call her over for a date. He wanted Qin Yunhan to cry for Lin Shun. Of course, they had to go all the way. He asked Yining to spread false news that Qin Yunhan's boyfriend was Lin Shun. Lin Shun was also killed because of this. No matter what, Yin Yuntian had to take the blame for this. In order to let Lin Shen's mysterious elder sister's anger burn on Yin Yuntian's head in the future, Qin Yunhan needed to appear in front of Luo Qingqian and her sisters to let them believe that Qin Yunhan was Lin Shen's girlfriend. By the time Lin Shen's eldest sister arrived, Qin Yunhan would be able to testify against Yin Yuntian. After replying to Qin Yunhan's message, Wang Haoran waited. Luo Qingqian continued to cry in her lover's arms for a long time. Her mood gradually calmed down. Although she was still sad, she was much better than before. Do you need me to inform Wei Wei and the rest? Wang Haoran saw that Luo Qingqian was still emotionally unstable, so he wanted to help her. Hearing this, Luo Qingqian nodded at Wang Haoran. Wang Haoran took out his phone and made a call to inform them. Then, he fell into a state of waiting. But Xiao Qianwei and the rest went to look for Lin Chen a little far, so they couldn't come over for the time being. But not long after, someone appeared by the lake. However, it wasn't Xiao Qianwei and the rest, but a beautiful young lady. Wang Haoren only took one look, and his soul was almost taken away. But after all, he was experienced and knowledgeable. He had seen countless people and had been through hundreds of battles. So, he woke up quickly. The lady glanced around, and her gaze landed on Wang Haoren. We just exchanged messages. Wang Haoren then realized something and questioned sternly, "Why do you have Qin Yunhan's phone? Who are you?" The lady was naturally Feng Xuanzu. After Qin Yunhan fell asleep, she took Qin Yunhan's phone to check and found Wang Haoren, who was in close contact with Qin Yunhan. So, she sent a message to Wang Haoren and asked him to come out for a meeting. Feng Xuanzu said coldly, "You don't have to care about that. Come with me. I have something to tell you." Wang Haoren, who knew the trick well, had already guessed what Feng Xuanzu wanted to say to him. It was nothing more than asking him to leave Qin Yunhan and not affect Qin Yunhan's future. If Luo Qinxian wasn't here, Wang Haoren would definitely teach Feng Xuanzu a lesson. But with Luo Qinxian here, it was better to keep a low profile and continue to pretend to be an ordinary person. "I'm a little busy. I'm afraid it's not convenient. Let's talk another day," Wang Haoren replied to Feng Xuanzu. "I don't have that much time. Come with me now." Feng Xuanzu's tone turned cold. Wang Haoren smiled and shook his head. "You don't want to? I'm afraid it's not up to you." As soon as she said that, Feng Xuanzu, who was a few feet away, swayed her body and arrived in front of Wang Haoren. Under the moonlight, a jade-like hand grabbed Wang Haoren's shoulder and tried to take him away by force. However, just as the jade-like hand was about to touch Wang Haoren, Luo Qinxian struck out with her palm. The two palms collided, and there was an explosion in the air. This exchange of blows seemed to be on par with each other. The owners of the two palms let out a soft gasp of surprise. The two of them didn't seem to have expected the other party to be so powerful. "Luo Qinxian, it's you." Feng Xuanzu's attention was all on Wang Haoren. In addition, the moonlight was dim, and she didn't have the confidence to size up the woman beside him. Now that she took a closer look, she recognized her. "Feng Xuanzu, what a surprise to see you here." Luo Qinxian was also sure who the other party was. She immediately sneered. "Why? The number one beauty of the hidden pugilistic world who looks down on all men in the world has the idea of snatching a man? Don't talk nonsense. Unless I'm blind, why would I fall for such an ordinary man?" Feng Xuanzu immediately retorted. However, when Luo Qinxian heard that, she was instantly annoyed. Wasn't Feng Xuanzu's words scolding him for being blind? How preposterous! "Feng Xuanzu, haven't you always wanted to defeat me and jump from the third to the second place on the Hidden Dragon and Phoenix list? Today, I'll satisfy your wish and let you understand the gap between us," Luo Qinxian said angrily. "Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Feng Xuanzu didn't back down. Harmony breeds wealth. Let's talk things out. Wang Haoren walked between the two of them to mediate the fight. "Get lost. You have no right to speak here." Feng Xuanzu threw a cold glance at Wang Haoren. When Luo Qinxian saw her lover being humiliated, she was even more furious. She immediately channeled all her true qi and slammed her palm towards Feng Xuanzu's chest. However, before she could touch Feng Xuanzu held her head and cried out in pain. Luo Qinxian wasn't a villain who would take advantage of others. She was shocked when she saw that. Her palm stopped in midair and didn't hit Feng Xuanzu's chest. The sudden change in the scene stunned Wang Haoren, who was watching the show, because the scene felt like Feng Xuanzu was trying to take advantage of Luo Qinxian. However, such a possibility was almost non-existent. "Husband, leave quickly, leave quickly, leave quickly. Don't worry about me. Leave quickly." Feng Xuanzu squatted on the ground and held her head. She looked like she was in pain. She seemed to be recalling something as she let out a heart-wrenching scream. When he saw that, Wang Haoren's shocked expression gradually turned into a strange smile. Chapter 320. With Feng Xuanzu's condition, it was obvious that she had suddenly recalled some painful memories. Judging from her painful cries, it must have something to do with her husband. When Wang Haoren saw this, how could he not guess what was going on? Calculating the time, it had been exactly 24 hours since he used the social relationship bond card. It was time for it to be triggered. Feng Xuansu's abnormality was clearly related to this. Luo Qingxian looked at Feng Xuansu blankly for a while, then turned to ask Wang Haoren, what happened to her? Wang Haoren spread his hands, not knowing whether to laugh or to cry. How would I know? If Luo Qingxian was not present, he would definitely have a touching reunion scene with Feng Xuansu. However, since Luo Qingxian was here, he might as well forget about it. Luo Qingxian was more magnanimous to her sisters, but not to Feng Xuansu. Moreover, Feng Xuansu had directly leaped ahead of them and became his wife. It was unknown what Luo Qingxian would do. Of course, Wang Haoren would not be foolish enough to add such trouble to himself. Husband, Feng Xuansu lay on her side on the ground. Her tear-filled eyes reflected Wang Haoren's silhouette in the distance. She extended her hand toward Wang Haoren. However, her head hurt terribly. Her arm slipped, and she fell to the ground. She fainted immediately. Ding! Lost couple bond is in effect. The female lead Feng Xuansu's affinity with the host has increased to 90 till death do us part. Ding! The host has greatly affected the direction of the plot. Obtained 4,000 villain points. Yin Yuntian's protagonist aura -200. The host's villain aura +200. Luo Qingxian saw Feng Xuansu's abnormal reaction. She did not think that the husband Feng Xuansu mentioned had anything to do with Wang Haoren. Firstly, Feng Xuansu was in the secluded world. Everyone knew that she was unmarried. Now, that Feng Xuansu was behaving so abnormally, her words were suspicious. Secondly, even if it was the truth, with Feng Xuansu's status and reputation in the secluded world, how could she possibly have a secular husband like Wang Haoren? Before long, Bian Suin and the others arrived. When they saw Lin Chen's cold body, they cried sadly for a while. Then, Bian Suin checked the cause of Lin Chen's death. She quickly found out that Lin Chen was killed by a palm strike. His internal organs were all shattered. To be able to do this, one must have an extraordinary true qi cultivation base. According to Bian Suin's estimation, the culprit's Zhen qi cultivation was definitely above 50 years. Wang Haoren listened from the side and secretly nodded. As expected of the little fairy doctor, she really had some skills. Her judgment was indeed not far from the truth. However, Bian Suin and the others had no clue who the culprit was. Since the time was not right, Wang Haoren did not intend to say much for the time being. He merely guided everyone's train of thought. That was some powerful expert from the hidden Jianghu had come to Qingling recently. Luo Qingxian was deep in thought after hearing that. Wang Haoren then suggested to call someone from the police station to record it. Luo Qingxian and the rest did not object. Although Lin Chen died in the hands of an expert from the hidden Jianghu, this was the secular world. They still had to follow the rules. After going through the procedures, they could settle Lin Chen's funeral. After Lin Chen was transferred away by the relevant personnel, it was already the latter half of the night. Luo Qingxian and the rest were ready to return to the villa. When they were leaving, Luo Qingxian thought for a while and brought Feng Xuansu along. She did not have any grudges with Feng Xuansu. Now that it was the latter half of the night, and Feng Xuansu had fainted here for no reason, it would be bad if she met someone bad. Feng Xuansu was brought back to Lu Yu's villa and placed in a bedroom. Bian Suin checked on her and realized that she did not have any obvious symptoms. She then asked Luo Qingxian. Luo Qingxian told her about Feng Xuansu's abnormality before she fainted. Bian Suin quickly deduced that Feng Xuansu must have recalled some painful memories and fainted due to extreme emotions. It was not a big deal. Not long after Bian Suin said that, Feng Xuansu woke up with a groan. After scanning the unfamiliar environment, Feng Xuansu immediately became alert. Don't worry. If they wanted to harm you, they wouldn't have let you wake up, Luo Qingxian said coldly. Hearing that, Feng Xuansu's tensed body gradually relaxed. She glanced at the people in the room and finally fixed her gaze on Wang Haoren. At that moment, her emotions were all restrained, and she looked calm on the surface. "I'd like to talk to you. Is that okay?" Feng Xuanzu had said similar words to Wang Haoren before. However, the tone was completely different. Previously, she was bossing him around. Now, she was as gentle as water. "What do you want to talk to him about?" "Just say it here," Luo Qingqian said unhappily. "That's right. If you want to say it here." Qiu Qianwei stood out and held on to Wang Haoren's hand. She looked at Feng Xuanzu cautiously, as if she was afraid that Wang Haoren would be snatched away by her. "You? What's your relationship with him?" Feng Xuanzu asked in shock. "I'm his girlfriend." Since all the sisters knew about it, Qiu Qianwei naturally didn't have to hide it from them. She directly declared her sovereignty to Feng Xuanzu. That was because Feng Xuanzu was simply too beautiful. She was as beautiful as a fairy in the legends. Seeing that Qiu Qianwei said it out loud, Wang Haoren complained in his heart. "Great, what should he do now?" Hearing Qiu Qianwei's words, Feng Xuanzu's pale face turned even paler. However, she still took a deep breath and said to Wang Haoren again, "I have some questions for you. I don't mean any harm. Can I take up a few minutes of your time?" Wang Haoren nodded in agreement. Seeing that, Luo Qingqian and the others had to leave temporarily. After the door was closed, only Wang Haoren and Feng Xuanzu were left. You don't recognize me?" Feng Xuanzu asked sadly. "Of course I recognize you. I'm your husband, and you're my wife. I've been looking for you all these years." Wang Haoren wanted to say that he and Feng Xuanzu had a touching scene of a husband and wife meeting. Then he wanted to feel how warm and soft the embrace of the most beautiful woman in the hidden world was. However, the sisters outside the door were eavesdropping. After sighing to himself, Wang Haoren asked blankly, "Have we met before? You really don't remember me?" Feng Xuanzu's face turned even paler. Her eyebrows were tightly knitted, which made one's heart ache. "I'm sorry, I really don't know you. I've never seen you before," Wang Haoren said seriously. He was telling the truth. He had indeed never seen Feng Xuanzu before. In fact, he didn't even have any memories of Feng Xuanzu. After the bond took effect, it was only Feng Xuanzu who had the relevant memories. "No, you definitely know me. Think about it. Think about it carefully," Feng Xuanzu said helplessly like a weak child. Hearing that, Wang Haoren pretended to think. Then, he covered his head with a painful expression. He looked exactly the same as Feng Xuanzu before. Chapter 321. When Feng Xuanzu saw Wang Haoren in such a state, she panicked for a moment before she was overjoyed. Luo Qingqian and the rest heard the commotion and were worried about Wang Haoren. They pushed the door open and entered. Qiu Qianwei rushed in and held Wang Haoren. She asked in shock, "What's wrong with you?" Bian Suin also rushed forward to check on Wang Haoren. However, at this moment, the painful expression on Wang Haoren's face gradually disappeared and he returned to normal. "I'm fine," Wang Haoren replied to Qiu Qianwei and the rest. The sisters heaved a sigh of relief. "Did you remember something?" Feng Xuanzu asked with anticipation in her eyes. Wang Haoren shook his head. "I have a blank memory. I want to recall it, but my head hurts when I think about it." Of course, he was just putting on an act. Qiu Qianwei and the rest were here, so it wasn't convenient for him to acknowledge Feng Xuanzu. It would be even more inappropriate if he denied having anything to do with Feng Xuanzu. Therefore, he had an idea and came up with this idea. Hearing that, Feng Xuanzu was overjoyed. She was sure that her husband had lost a part of his memory like her. Now that she remembered it, her husband didn't. But no matter what, there was still a glimmer of hope. However, Feng Xuanzu didn't want to see her husband in such pain, so she said in a gentle voice, "Don't think about it on purpose. Let nature take its course. There will be a time when you remember it." Wang Haoren nodded at her. The sisters at the side were suspicious. Luo Qingqian couldn't help but ask Feng Xuanzu, "You used to know Haoren, and he was the husband you were talking about. Is that true?" Feng Xuanzu didn't want to tell the truth, so as to not trigger her husband's memory and make him suffer again. Therefore, she replied seriously, "Luo Qingqian, I'm innocent. Why would I marry someone else? Don't slander me. Although she couldn't wait to acknowledge her husband, she still wanted to do it in a gentler way. That was because when he recalled that memory, he felt as if his head was about to split open. Feng Xuansu's heart ached for her husband, so she naturally didn't want him to continue suffering. You shouted at yourself. How can you blame me? Luo Qingxian pouted. Earlier, my head hurt terribly. That's why I said some nonsense. I don't even remember what I shouted, Feng Xuansu said. Are you all right now? Since you're fine, let's go. There are just enough bedrooms for us sisters to stay together, but there's no place for you to stay. Luo Qingxian directly ordered her to leave. Thank you for saving me earlier. See you again. Feng Xuansu naturally wouldn't be thick-skinned and stay behind. She got up from the bed and prepared to leave. However, before he left, he took a few more glances at Wang Haoran. Back in the hotel room, Qin Yunhan slept soundly and did not notice that Feng Xuansu had left. When she woke up the next day, Feng Xuansu did not mention anything about bringing Qin Yunhan back to Fengxi Mountain, although this was her mission for this trip. But now, she wanted to stay in Qingling and wait for her husband to recover his memory and reunite with her. Yunhan, what's your relationship with Wang Haoran? Not long after she woke up, Feng Xuansu couldn't help but ask. When she was in Lu Yu's villa, she heard Qiu Qianwei say that her husband was her boyfriend, and Qin Yunhan was so close to Wang Haoran. Her husband was too fickle, wasn't he? Damn it, he was a married man. Feng Xuansu was annoyed, but thinking that her husband had forgotten everything, she only blamed him in her heart. Auntie, did you peek at my phone? Qin Yunhan asked suspiciously. I'm just concerned about you. Feng Xuansu did not deny it. The elders of our families know each other. Wang Haoran and I have known each other for a long time. We are high school classmates, and now we are studying in the same university. We are very good friends. Qin Yunhan felt that her auntie's behavior was weird, so she did not admit her relationship with Wang Haoran. Feng Xuansu nodded slightly. She thought for a while and added, Do you know that he has a girlfriend? Yes. Qin Yunhan answered, but she was puzzled. How did her auntie know about Su Muyan? Feng Xuansu thought that Qin Yunhan was referring to Qiu Qianwei and couldn't help but feel relieved. Since you know, you should keep a distance from Wang Haoran. Don't cross the boundary of friends. Feng Xuansu reminded. She didn't know how to face Qiu Qianwei after reuniting with her husband. Naturally, she didn't want anyone to get involved. Moreover, this person was her niece in terms of seniority. If she really got involved, wouldn't it be a mess? I know what I'm doing. Qin Yunhan responded to Feng Xuansu. Okay, you go to class. I have to meet someone today. Feng Xuansu got up from the bed. Dozens of minutes later, Feng Xuansu appeared outside a big house. Miss Xuansu, you are here. Yuning came out to receive her and led Feng Xuansu into the big house respectfully. Where did Yun Tian go? Feng Xuansu asked. He locked himself in the house for a few days and didn't go out. I don't know what happened. Yuning knew the reason, but she pretended to be puzzled. Take me to see him, Feng Xuansu said. Yuning nodded and led the way. Not long after, the two of them appeared outside a simple and elegant bedroom. Yin Tian, it's me. Feng Xuansu knocked on the door and called out a few times. Yin Tian took a long time to respond. After a while, he walked out of the bedroom. She saw that Yin Tian looked haggard. His eye bags were slightly gray and he was in low spirits. Feng Xuansu was surprised. Logically speaking, the essence, qi, and spirit of martial cultivation were very vigorous. Such a situation shouldn't happen. What happened to you? Feng Xuansu asked curiously. Because of the troubles in my cultivation, I haven't slept for a few days. It's just a small matter. Yin Tian felt bitter in his heart, but he pretended to be carefree. And what he said was not wrong. After he lost his ability in that aspect, his cultivation would indeed stagnate. Because after he became a master of neutralizing energy, he needed the fusion of yin and yang to cultivate. But now that he was sick, he naturally couldn't continue cultivating. Don't be impatient. Take it slow. Feng Xuansu comforted him. But as she spoke, she thought of her own troubles and couldn't help but sigh. Yin Tian nodded solemnly. Although there was a problem, perhaps it could be cured. Then, He noticed the worry between Feng Xuansu's brows. He asked, "Aunt, do you have any troubles too? I'm a human, not a god." "Of course I have troubles." Feng Xuansu sighed. "What is it that made Aunt so troubled?" Yin Yuntian asked curiously. Feng Xuansu opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but stopped. "Aunt, you don't treat me as an outsider, right?" Yin Yuntian looked at Yu Ning beside him. Yu Ning understood and immediately said, "I'll go make 2 cups of tea." Soon she left. Feng Xuansu hesitated for a moment and didn't hide it anymore. "You should know that when my sect was destroyed, I lost part of my memory. Just last night, I suddenly remembered." "What did you remember?" Yin Yuntian asked. "I'm already married and have a husband. I even saw him last night. It's just that he doesn't remember me." Feng Xuansu told him about her troubles. However, as soon as these words came out, Yin Yuntian frowned as if he was struck by lightning. It was as if he had aged dozens of years in an instant. Ding! Host caused the protagonist, Yin Yuntian's mentality, to be damaged. Received 2,000 villain points. Yin Yuntian's protagonist aura -100. Host villain aura +100. Wang Haoren. Chapter 322. In a simple house. Feng Xin got up, tidied herself up, and prepared to go to work. Just as she was about to go out, she was stopped by her brother, Feng Heng. "Sister, I don't have any money. Give me money to refuel." Feng Heng stretched out his hand. "Can't you just sell that Lamborghini Ferrari? Why do you need to refuel it every 2 or 3 days? It's too expensive." Feng Xin said with some displeasure. "This car has a lot of horsepower and consumes more fuel than ordinary cars." Feng Heng explained, then said, "It's just a little bit of fuel money. It doesn't matter. Give me the money quickly. I still want to go out and play." Hearing this, Feng Xin was even more displeased. She scolded, "You're not young anymore. Can't you find something to do every day? Don't always go out and play." "How am I not doing anything? Didn't I buy so many valuable antiques?" Feng Heng retorted. It would have been better if he didn't mention this. Feng Xin got angry when he mentioned it. However, she was in a hurry to go to work and didn't have time to continue scolding Feng Heng. "I'm going to work. If you have anything to say, say it later." After saying that, she wanted to pass by Feng Heng and go out. Feng Heng stopped her and said, "Sister, give me the money first. I don't want much. Just 1 million. Do you think your sister is a rich woman? You want to give me 10 million. And do you need so much money to refuel?" Feng Xian said anxiously, "Aren't you a rich woman? The 1 billion I got from selling antiques is all with you. I asked for more in one go so that I don't have to look for you all the time." Feng Heng said matter-of-factly. Feng Xian rubbed her forehead. She felt a headache coming on. The antiques that her younger brother had bought were all fake. They were all collected by Wang Haoren as a trust. Wang Haoren transferred the money from selling the antiques to her, but she transferred it to Wang Haoren. However, Feng Xian didn't know how to explain this matter. She could only reply to Feng Heng. "You can't touch the money from selling the antiques. Keep it for your future wife. You don't need so much money to marry a wife." Feng Heng rolled his eyes and urged, "Sis, stop fooling around. Give me the money. I still have to go to the class reunion. If I don't have any money on me, how would I look like?" Feng Xian said helplessly, "I'll transfer you 50,000. Her original salary was about 30,000 yuan. Naturally, after following Wang Haoren, her monthly salary had increased to 100,000 yuan. 50,000 was still within his means. As she spoke, she took out her phone and transferred the money to Feng Heng. Immediately, a handsome face appeared in his mind. Calculating the time, it had been a long time since he last looked for her. It had been so long. Perhaps she had forgotten about him? Feng Xian sighed inwardly. However, this was normal. When she was with him, she was clumsy and didn't know how to please him. She was even worse than that little girl named Wenjing. 50,000 is too little. It's not enough, not enough, Feng Heng said unhappily. Just 50,000. I don't have anything more. Feng Xian was infuriated when her thoughts were interrupted. Sis, are you kidding? I have more than 1 billion yuan with you. How can you only take out 1 million yuan? Feng Heng was losing his patience. He pretended to be rich in the group chat and said that he wanted to treat dozens of classmates to a meal at a big hotel. If it wasn't at least 100,000 yuan, he wouldn't be able to pay the bill. That money. I gave that money to my boyfriend to do business. Fang Xian didn't want to tell the truth, so she found a random reason to fool Fang Heng. Sis, when did you find a boyfriend? Fang Heng was shocked and asked subconsciously, do I have to inform you when I find a boyfriend? Fang Xian asked, Sis, you just said that you gave the money to your boyfriend to do business. More than 1 billion yuan. You gave it all to him? Fang Heng realized another serious problem and asked in shock. Yes. Fang Xian nodded. More than 1 billion yuan for your boyfriend to do business. Are you crazy? Fang Heng stomped his foot. He will return the money in the future. Don't worry. Fang Xian wanted to calm Fang Heng down. How can I not worry? I earned that money. You didn't even ask and directly lent more than 1 billion yuan to your boyfriend. Do you still see me as your brother? You don't deserve to be my sister. Fang Heng said angrily. You don't deserve to be my brother. Fang Xian was also angry. She pointed at the big car outside. You drive this car every day and wander around outside. I didn't even say anything about you. Do you know how this car came about? Of course I earned it. Fang Heng replied. You earned it. Fang Xian sneered. She wanted to say that his sister betrayed herself in exchange for it. But when the words reached her mouth, she was too embarrassed to say them. She swallowed them back down. She directly walked past Fang Heng and walked out without looking back. She completely ignored Fang Heng's shouts behind her. Not long after, Fang Xian left Fang Heng's field of vision. Fang Heng stomped his feet in anger. His sister was too stupid. She actually lent her own money to her boyfriend to do business. Ding! The host caused damage to the protagonist Fang Heng's mentality. Received 300 villain points. Fang Heng's protagonist aura a -15. Host villain aura +15. Ding! Fang Heng's protagonist aura is lower than 50. The golden finger is ineffective. Wang Haoran, who was in class, suddenly received a system notification. It had been a long time since he last saw the protagonist, Fang Heng. Speaking of which, it had been a long time since he last saw him. If it wasn't for the sudden wave of rewards, he would have almost forgotten about this protagonist. However, the rewards that Fang Heng provided, Wang Haoran didn't care about them anymore. It was too little. I have a batch of antiques to sell to you. Do you have time? Just as Wang Haoran was thinking about Fang Heng, he suddenly received a message from Fang Heng. Around 6 in the evening, Wang Haoran immediately replied. Fang Heng's golden finger was ineffective. He wouldn't be able to harvest anything in the future. This should be the last harvest. He just didn't know how many antiques Fang Heng had collected after not seeing him for so long. Okay, I'll drive over to pick you up to see my batch of antiques. But I have to remind you to prepare more money. Fang Heng sent a message. Don't worry, money is not a problem. Wang Haoran replied again. In the evening, Fang Heng drove his Lamborghini to the gate of Qingling University, attracting many envious gazes. Fang Heng was so proud that his nose was almost in the sky. Wang Haoran had just arrived. Seeing this scene, he laughed in his heart. This should be the last time Fang Heng showed off. You're here. Get in the car. Fang Heng greeted him. Wang Haoran got into the passenger's seat and followed Fang Heng to the house. Fang Heng's antiques were stored in the basement of the old house. When Wang Haoran arrived at the basement, he saw a lot of bottles and jars, as well as some wrapped paintings and other objects. So many. Wang Haoran was surprised. What's wrong? You can't afford so many? Fang Heng sneered. No, I want all of them. Wang Haoran smiled meaningfully. I've asked someone to estimate the price. It's worth a little more than 2 billion yuan in total. But since you're a regular customer, I'll give you 2 billion yuan instead, Fang Heng said, emphasizing his words. But this time, you can't transfer the money to my sister. You have to transfer it directly to me. No problem. But let me make a call first, Wang Haoran said. You're looking for someone to inspect the goods? Then hurry up. I still have things to do. Fang Heng urged. He had a dinner with his classmates in the evening. He wanted to sell these antiques to Wang Haoran as soon as possible and show off at the class reunion. Chapter 323. After Wang Haoran hung up the phone, he waited with Fang Heng. About 20 minutes later, a figure appeared in front of the two of them. Sister, aren't you supposed to get off work at night? Why are you back at this time? Fang Heng asked in surprise. Fang Xian's expression was complicated. She didn't know how to respond. I asked her to come, Wang Haoran said. Didn't you ask her to inspect the goods? Why did you ask my sister to come? Fang Heng was puzzled. Wang Haoran looked at Fang Xian and said, This time, your brother asked for 2 billion. He said that the money can't be transferred to you, but to him. When Fang Xian heard this, she immediately understood why Wang Haoran called her back. She looked at Fang Heng and said, Silly brother, do you really think that you can appraise treasures just because you read some books? You're too naive. Wang Haoran asked you to do it. Sister, so you don't believe me? I really know how to appraise treasures, Fang Heng said seriously. Really? Then why don't you appraise it for me? Fang Xian said. Fang Heng smiled confidently. He was ready to show off. He glanced at the antiques in the room, picked a porcelain vase that was closest to him, and reached out to touch it. He had already inspected these antiques, but there were too many of them. He couldn't remember the exact age of each one. However, it didn't matter. He just touched it with his finger, and relevant information about the antique would appear in his mind. However, to Fang Heng's surprise, nothing happened in his mind when his hand touched the porcelain vase. Fang Heng was surprised. Fang Xian didn't find it strange that her brother didn't say anything. She urged, Tell me, what dynasty is it from? How was the craftsmanship? Tell me. Wait a minute. Fang Heng changed to another antique and was ready to test it. There was still no information in his mind. He then tried another antique. After trying a dozen antiques in a row, there was still no reaction. Cold sweat broke out on Fang Heng's forehead. Why did his golden finger suddenly stop moving? Enough, stop pretending. Fang Xian couldn't take it anymore and stopped him. Sister, I really know how to appraise treasures, but it might be because I didn't rest well last night, so I'm not in the best condition. I'll prove it to you tomorrow, Fang Heng insisted. Idiot, the first person who bought your antique for 5 million was Wang Haoran's client. After that, the client became Wang Haoran himself. Fang Xian explained again. Fang Heng glanced at Wang Haoran beside him and curled his lips as he said, Why did he become a shill for no reason? Why did he give me so much money? Because. Fang Xian blushed and was embarrassed to say it out loud. Because I'm your sister's boyfriend, Wang Haoran continued. Fang Xian was stunned and looked at Wang Haoran in disbelief. Ding! Female lead Fang Xian's favorability towards the host has increased by 15 points. Current favorability is 70, undying affection. Ding! Host has influenced the plot. Reward: 1,500 villain points. You're my sister's boyfriend? That's impossible. Fang Heng refused to accept this fact. Little Heng, he's my boyfriend. We've been together for a few months, Fang Xian said. Hearing his sister's words, Fang Heng had to believe it even if he didn't want to. However, what Fang Heng cared about the most now wasn't that his sister had a boyfriend, but that all the antiques he bought were now with Wang Haoran. Wang Haoran giving money to his sister was just a pretense. Those antiques were all taken by Wang Haoran for free. Fang Heng said anxiously, Wang Haoran, I'm going to sue you for cheating me of my antiques. How can you call the junk you bought from the street antiques? Don't joke around. After I took them, I threw them directly into the trash can. Wang Haoran laughed. That's impossible. I've appraised them. They're all real. Fang Heng said. How did you appraise them? Wang Haoran asked. I can't tell you that. Anyway, I can identify the authenticity of antiques. While speaking, Fang Heng pointed to the antiques on the ground. These are all real antiques. They're worth more than 2 billion. Then find an expert to come over and see if these antiques are real, Wang Haoran said. I'll go even if you don't ask. Fang Heng snorted. Then he asked Wang Haoran and his sister to leave the basement where the antiques were stored. Then he locked the door tightly to prevent them from being stolen. You have to hurry. It's getting dark. Wang Haoran patted Fang Heng's shoulder. You don't have to be so nosy. Go back to where you came from. Fang Heng shook his shoulder and shook off Wang Haoran's hand. Then he reached out and scratched his shoulder. For some reason, he felt a little itchy on his shoulder, as if he had been bitten by a mosquito. After Fong Hung left, Fong Xian looked at Wang Haoran and said gratefully, "Just now, thank you for not telling the truth. You saved my dignity. I'm telling the truth." Wang Haoran smiled. Perhaps it was because he had said too many sweet words and it had become a habit. Subconsciously, he opened his mouth and said it. You really think of me as your girlfriend?" Fong Xian was flattered. "You don't want to?" "Of course I want to. I just don't think I'm qualified." Fong Xian felt inferior. "If I say you are, then you are." Thank you. I told you, don't say thank you. My parents are visiting relatives. Little Hung won't be back for a while." Fong Xian said unexpectedly. "I've never been to your house before. Take me to see it." Wang Haoran's heart skipped a beat. Okay. Fong Xian lowered her head and answered. Ding. Host has captured female lead Fong Xian. Received 1,000 villain points. Fong Xian female lead aura -50. Fong Hung protagonist aura -50. Host villain aura +100. Ding. Fong Hung protagonist aura has dropped to 0. Host status has been lost. Wang Haoran received 2 system notifications. He was secretly happy, but then he felt a little strange. He clearly remembered that Fong Xian only received so many rewards the first time. After that, it was halved. Why did it inexplicably increase again? While he was confused, Wang Haoran communicated with the system. He immediately spent some villain points and checked Fong Xian's information. Female lead, Fong Xian, combat strength, 19, charm, 192, female lead aura, 919, rising, skill, talent, and active. After seeing Fong Xian's stats, Wang Haoran was surprised. He didn't check Fong Xian's stats before. He only checked Fong Heng's. Fong Heng's initial protagonist aura didn't even reach 400. Fong Xian's female lead aura seemed a little ridiculous. It was more than twice as much as Fong Heng's. And this was after interacting with him many times. Also, rising was easy to understand. It obviously meant that Fong Xian's female lead aura was rising. And in the last skill, talent column, it showed that it was inactive. This was Wang Haoran's first time seeing this. Wang Haoran remembered that Fong Xian said it last time, but he wanted to confirm it, so he asked again, "You and Fong Hung aren't biological siblings, right?" "Yes, I'm an adopted daughter. I was picked up by my adoptive parents," Fong Xian said as she took off the half-moon jade around her neck. "This was on me when my adoptive parents picked me up. It should be related to my background." Wang Haoran narrowed his eyes. Her background was a mystery. She was wearing a keepsake, and the female lead aura was rising. This was full of tricks. It seemed that Fong Xian's real background wasn't simple. Chapter 324. What? Little Hung went to the women's bathhouse to cause trouble? Just as Wang Haoran was lost in his thoughts, Fong Xian received a phone call. After listening to the person on the phone, she could not help but cry out in surprise. Okay, I'll be right there." Fong Xian listened for a while, then hurriedly responded. She hung up the phone and hurriedly put on her clothes. Wang Haoran had heard most of what Fong Xian said on the phone. He was not surprised by this. Instead, he secretly laughed. With a serious expression, he said, "I'll go with you." "Okay." Fong Xian nodded. The two of them went out together and went to the bathhouse in the neighborhood. "Little Xian, this brother of yours is really outrageous. I'm already 40 years old, but he gave me a few $100s and said that he would take me home. What a beast. I'm already a few decades old, and I'm already a grandmother. If word gets out that I was taken advantage of by a 20-year-old boy, how am I going to live? This Fong Hung looks like a decent person, but it turns out that he's this kind of person." When Fong Xian arrived at the bathhouse, the aunties in the neighborhood all ran over to complain. I'm sorry. Fong Xian apologized one by one, then asked where Fong Hung was. The aunties moved aside, only to see Fong Hung lying on the ground, already unconscious. After Fong Xian asked, she found out that Fong Hung had been slapped unconscious by a big, round auntie. Half of Fong Heng's face was swollen. Regarding this, Fong Xian did not have the slightest bit of temper. These aunties all lived in this old neighborhood, and they all knew Fong Hung. Otherwise, it would not have been as simple as a slap. After the slap, they would probably have to call the police to arrest Fong Hung. Fong Xian immediately called the hospital. Not long after, an ambulance came and dragged Fong Hung away. Wang Haoren looked at the Lamborghini Dainyu and took Fong Xian to the hospital. After Fong Hung arrived at the hospital, he woke up half an hour later and said with a blank face, "I'm sorry." He asked with confusion, "Why am I here?" "You have the nerve to ask. Have you forgotten what you did?" Fong Xian was so angry that she slapped Fong Hung's head. Fong Hung felt the pain and could not help but complain. "I went to the antique market to buy antiques. I didn't do anything bad. Why did you hit me?" "Are you confused? You clearly went to the bathhouse in the neighborhood." Fong Xian asked. "Sister, what are you talking about? I clearly went to the antique market and bought some valuable antiques. But after we agreed on the price, the other party went back on their word." "How could this happen?" Fong Hung angrily slapped his thigh. "You did something wrong, but you still don't want to admit it?" Fong Xian's face was cold. She opened the video on her phone and threw it to Fong Hung. "Open your eyes and see for yourself." Fong Hung was puzzled. He took the phone and saw a wretched man chasing after an auntie in the bathhouse. At first, the wretched man was far away, and his face could not be seen clearly. But as the video played, the wretched man walked towards the cameraman. The wretched man's face immediately became clear. Isn't this me?" Fong Hung was stunned. "You still know it's you?" Fong Xian was angry. She reached out and knocked his head again. "Auntie Lu sent this to me. If I didn't see this video, I wouldn't believe that you would do such a disgraceful thing. You've embarrassed our family. Who knows what people will say about Dad and Mom? When they come back, they'll definitely beat you up." Fong Hung said in disbelief, "I clearly remember that I went to the antique market to buy some antiques. How did I end up in the bathhouse?" "You're asking me? Who should I ask?" Fong Xian snorted. While they were talking, a doctor came in with a checkup report. "Who's the family member?" "I am," Fong Xian replied. She quickly asked, "Is my brother okay?" "Physically, he's fine. But mentally, there's something wrong with him. According to your description, we've examined him again. Our preliminary diagnosis is that he may be suffering from a rare mental illness," the doctor said solemnly. "Are you kidding me? How can I be mentally ill?" Fong Hung felt like he had heard the funniest joke in the world. The doctor ignored Fong Hung. In order to confirm his condition, he asked Fong Xian, "Does your brother have any abnormal behavior in his daily life?" Hearing the doctor's words, Fong Xian thought for a moment. Then, she thought of something and said, "My younger brother didn't study much and isn't very smart. He only read a few appraisal books and claimed that he knew how to appraise. Furthermore, he felt that he had found an antique worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of yuan. Isn't this abnormal behavior?" "Of course it is." The doctor nodded. "Sister, I really know how to appraise. Why don't you believe me?" Fong Hung insisted. "Look, he's acting up again," Wang Haoren suddenly interjected. Fong Hung felt dizzy for a moment. He felt like he was seeing double. After a few seconds, he returned to normal. He pointed at a figure and said, "Wang Haoren, shut up. You cheated me of more than $1 billion worth of antiques. I haven't settled the score with you yet. Why are you pointing at me? I'm your sister." Fong Xian frowned. "Wang Haoren, do you think there's something wrong with my eyes? Pay me back, or I'll sue you." Fong Hung said angrily. Fong Xian's frown deepened. For a moment, she couldn't even speak. "His condition seems to be much more serious than I thought." The doctor pondered for a moment and said to Fong Xian, "I suggest that your brother be transferred to a professional mental hospital for treatment." Fong Xian nodded. She also wanted Fong Hung to receive the best treatment. Wang Haoren asked for help from his family's connections. Fong Xian was extremely grateful. "I don't want to go to a mental hospital. I don't want to go." Fong Hung became agitated and wanted to run away. A few paramedics came in, held him down, and gave him a sedative. Fong Hung quickly fell into a deep sleep. It was easy to get things done with connections. After 2 to 3 hours, Fong Hung was successfully transferred to the best mental hospital. After everything was done, Fong Xian only felt a little tired. "It's okay. Your brother will definitely recover." Wang Haoren comforted her. He knew the dosage of the drug very well. Fang Heng would return to normal in 3 to 5 years. By then, you would naturally be fine. Fortunately, I have your help. Without you, I wouldn't know what to do. Fang Xian looked at him with a pair of watery eyes. Wang Haoren smiled. Then, he thought of something and said, Fang Heng went to the female bathhouse in the neighborhood. You've lost a lot of face. If you continue to live in your house, you'll definitely be criticized by the neighbors. I suggest you move to another place. After a pause, he added, Of course, you don't have to worry about the house at all. Leave it to me. Chapter 325. After hearing Wang Haoren's words, Fang Xian shook her head and refused. That won't do. You've already helped me too much. I can't accept any more help from you. Wang Haoren insisted. Your house is simple and remote. My heart aches when I see you living in such a place. Listen to me. Let's move to another house. It'll be more convenient for us to meet in the future. Fang Xian's background was definitely not simple. Of course, it was necessary to establish a good relationship with her in advance. Wang Haoren was naturally more attentive. After hearing the first part, Fang Xian still refused. However, when she heard Wang Haoren say that it would be more convenient for them to meet, she was immediately moved. I want to work for your mother's company for the rest of my life. Fang Xian felt that she was not capable and did not know how to repay him. So she said this. Don't be silly. Maybe when you're successful in the future, you won't be my mother's secretary anymore. Wang Haoren said meaningfully, I know what I'm capable of. Fang Xian laughed, then said with a red face, and even if I'm successful, I'll still be your woman. A woman who's willing to do anything for you. Wang Haoren was very pleased. He looked at the time. It's getting late. I'll send you back first. Fang Xian arrived at the door. She wanted to ask Wang Haoren to stay, but when she saw the lights in the house, she knew that her parents were back. She had to give up on the idea. Wang Haoren rolled down the window and said to Fang Xian, who was standing outside the car, It's not easy to get a taxi here. I'll drive this big bull back. I'll get someone to send it to you tomorrow. Fang Xian shook her head. No need. You can drive this car away. You don't have to send it back. That's not good. Wang Haoren refused. It was bought with your money. What's not good about it? Besides, we don't know when little Hung will recover from his illness. If we leave the car for too long, it might break down, Fang Xian said. All right then. Wang Haoren reluctantly agreed. Then, he thought of a more important matter and said, That's right. By the way, I'll get someone to move the fake antiques that your brother put in the basement tomorrow. Let's see how much they can be sold at the market. I'll transfer the money to you then. Fang Xian said, Just get someone to move it away, but don't pay me. Wang Haoren nodded. I'll be leaving then. Wait. Fang Xian stopped him. Is there anything else? Wang Haoren asked. Fang Xian didn't reply. She took a few small steps forward and bent down to give him a light kiss. Then, she turned around and ran home with a red face. Wang Haoren touched the lingering softness on his face and smiled. He stepped on the gas pedal and the car sped out. The car was a top-notch model. It was almost 10 million yuan. It was quite exciting to drive. Lu Hua, Lu Ming, and Wei Zhihong finished their supper outside and were about to return to the dormitory. Halfway back, Wei Zhihong realized that he had left his phone behind, so he went back to the supper place alone to get it. After getting his phone, Wei Zhihong was about to return to the dormitory, but when he passed by the campus path illuminated by the street lights, he saw a tall girl with long hair in front of him. Just looking at the girl's back made Wei Zhihong feel a little hot. So, he kept a distance and quietly followed her. Soon, the girl walked to a corner and disappeared from Wei Zhihong's sight for a moment. Wei Zhihong quickened his pace and hurriedly chased after her. But when he turned the corner, a small fist went straight for his eye. After taking a solid punch, Wei Zhihong's eye became a panda's eye. Wei Zhihong felt pain and was suddenly annoyed, but after seeing the girl in front of him, his anger disappeared instantly. He knew this girl. She was a sophomore in the finance department and the only campus belle, Ren Jiaojiao. Hey, why are you following me? Ren Jiaojiao rolled up her sleeves and said fiercely to Wei Zhihong. Old man? Hearing the other party's self-address, Wei Zhihong was stunned. I'm asking you a question. Why are you following me? Ren Jiaojiao repeated. I'm not following you. It's just on the way. Wei Zhihong quibbled for a while, then threatened. Senior, you're going too far. You hit half of my eye for no reason. You have to give me an explanation. Otherwise, this matter won't be over. Then what explanation do you want? Ren Jiaojiao sneered. This is easy. Wei Zhihong smiled wretchedly and said, Senior, if you become my girlfriend, I'll let this matter go. Be your girlfriend? Ren Jiaojiao laughed strangely. What's wrong? You agree, right? Wei Zhihong looked excited. It's not impossible for me to agree, but you have to fulfill a request. If you can do it, then I'll agree. Ren Jiaojiao smiled strangely. No matter what the request is, I'll agree. Even if I can't do it, there's still my boss. My boss can definitely do it. Wei Zhihong hurriedly said, Your boss? Ren Jiaojiao was surprised. My boss is Wang Haoren, the young master of the Wang Group. He's also the campus belle of our freshman year. You must have heard of him, right? Wei Zhihong said proudly. Ren Jiaojiao secretly curled her lips. Wang Haoren. This name sounds very annoying. Back to the topic. She said, You have to do this yourself. No one can help you. What is it? Stand still and let me hit you. If you can still stand without falling after being hit, then I'll agree to your request. That's too easy. Come on. Are you ready? Okay. Before Wei Zhihong could finish his words, he had already screamed and fell to the ground and curled up like a shrimp. His little brother had suffered a heavy blow. See you down. Then I can only say goodbye. Ren Jiaojiao retracted her leg, laughed a few times, and walked away. She returned to the female dormitory building and walked to her own room. However, every time Ren Jiaojiao passed by a dormitory, she would deliberately take a look. When she saw a beautiful girl, her eyes could not help but light up, and there was even a trace of saliva at the corner of her mouth. What are you looking at? Just as Ren Jiaojiao stopped at the door of a female dormitory, a sweet female voice suddenly came from the side. She turned around and immediately saw a baby-faced girl with a foul figure. Ren Jiaojiao was very excited. The girl in front of her was the type of girl she dreamed of. After a few more glances, she suddenly remembered something and said in surprise, You're the freshman campus belle, Mu Zhaozhao, right? I saw your photo on the campus forum. You're Ren Jiaojiao, a sophomore in the finance department, right? Mu Zhaozhao also recognized her. Hearing that, Ren Jiaojiao was stunned for a few seconds before she replied, Yes. I'm Ren Jiaojiao. Ren Jiaojiao. Chapter 3:26. After hearing the answer, Mu Zhaozhao was also completely sure of the other party's identity. She had a good impression of her and asked kindly, Senior, what were you looking at in our dormitory just now? Are you looking for someone? I'm not looking for someone. Ren Jiaojiao shook her head and thought for a few seconds. Then she said, I saw that there are only 3 beds in your dormitory. Are there only 3 people living here? Yes, there are only 3 people. Mu Zhaozhao nodded. It's too wasteful to have an empty bed. Can I move in? Ren Jiaojiao asked expectantly. Senior, don't you have a dormitory? Mu Zhaozhao wondered. Of course I have one. But when it rains, the ceiling of my bed leaks and often dirties my quilt, Ren Jiaojiao explained. Is that so? That's so annoying, Mu Zhaozhao said. Isn't it? Ren Jiaojiao complained and said, So, I saw that there was an empty bed in your dormitory, so I wanted to ask if you could let me move in. I don't have any objections, but I'm not the only one in this dormitory. I need to ask the other roommates. Wait a minute. With that, Mu Zhaozhao walked into the dormitory and told the other 2 roommates about the situation. The 2 roommates did not object when they heard that it was the sophomore campus belle. It's okay. My roommate said it's no problem. Mu Zhaozhao came out of the dormitory and responded to Ren Jiaojiao. That's great. I'll move the things, Ren Jiaojiao said excitedly. We put a lot of things on the empty bed. It's not easy to clean it up in a short time. How about we move it tomorrow? Mu Zhaozhao was too lazy to clean it up at night, and she didn't have time for the time being. This was because Qin Yunhan had invited her to play a game. Okay then. Ren Jiaojiao didn't want to force it, so as not to ruin Mu Zhaozhao's impression of her. Zhaozhao, what are you doing? I've already formed the team. We're just waiting for you. A woman's urging voice came from afar. Sister Yunhan, I'll be done in a minute. As she spoke, Mu Zhaozhao quickly took out her phone. Is that the other campus bell, Qin Yunhan? Ren Zhaozhao asked Mu Zhaozhao in surprise when she saw a beautiful face appear at the door of the dormitory not far away. Yes, we are best friends, Mu Zhaozhao said with a smile. Can you not make a fuss? In the room next to Qin Yunhan's, a beautiful girl came out and said to Qin Yunhan, I'm going to make a fuss. It's none of your business. Qin Yunhan retorted, Is that Su Mayan? Ren Zhaozhao took a closer look and cried out in surprise. Yes. Mu Zhaozhao nodded. Ren Zhaozhao's face lit up with joy when she heard that. Then, her excitement turned into excitement. Good heavens, the 3 campus bell of our freshman year are all on this floor. After I move into Mu Zhaozhao's dormitory tomorrow, I'll have to go visit her. The first class in the morning. As soon as Wang Haoran walked into the classroom, he saw Wei Zhihong, who had half a panda eye. He walked up excitedly and asked, Did you hit someone? Fourth brother, did someone hit you? Who hit you? Hurry up and tell me. Wei Zhihong was a little villain with a mocking face. Now that he was suddenly hit, it was very likely that it was the protagonist who did it. The protagonist's appearance was equivalent to gaining villain points and aura points. Of course, Wang Haoran was excited. No, I fell down by myself. Wei Zhihong smiled awkwardly. Wang Haoran scolded. What nonsense are you talking about? How can you fall like this? Hurry up and tell me the truth. Did you fail to flirt with a beauty and get beaten up by a hero who saved you? I wasn't beaten up by a man. It was by Ren Zhaozhao. Not only was my eyes hit, my brother was hit too. It still hurts. Wei Zhihong saw that he couldn't hide it, so he could only tell the truth. Ren Zhaozhao? Wang Haoran was surprised. She's a sophomore in the finance department. Wei Zhihong explained. Old four, you're so useless. You were beaten up by a woman. Lu Hua came over and said disdainfully, I heard that Ren Zhaozhao is a very gentle girl. How can she be so violent? Lu Ming also expressed his opinion. It's just a rumor. How is she gentle? She's very violent. Don't be fooled by her thin arms and legs. She's very strong. Wei Zhihong complained. Then what are you going to do? Aren't you going to get back at her? Lu Hua urged. I must get back at her. Wei Zhihong gritted his teeth and said to his friend in a low voice, I'm going to buy some drugs online. I'll knock Ren Zhaozhao out and teach her a lesson. I'll avenge my brother. Old four, I'll help you get back at her. Leave it to me. Wang Haoran patted Wei Zhihong's shoulder. Ren Zhaozhao was the sophomore campus belle. He heard that she was also very beautiful. Now, she was targeted by the little villain Wei Zhihong. Presumably, this Ren Zhaozhao was most likely the female lead. To deal with the female lead, it was better to have a professional villain. Wang Haoran, of course, didn't hesitate and directly took on this matter. Boss, then I'll have to trouble you. Wei Zhihong heard Wang Haoran say so. He didn't dare to oppose and could only say with a bitter face. It's no trouble, no trouble. Wang Haoran shook his head. Hey, Wang Haoran, what are you guys talking about? Mu Zhaozhao suddenly appeared from behind. We're talking about Ren Zhaozhao. Wang Haoran didn't say anything, but Lu Ming immediately said without thinking. Wang Haoran couldn't help but glare at Lu Ming. Lu Ming was so scared that he shrank his neck. He said to Mu Zhaozhao, let's talk about studying. Mu Zhaozhao said, oh, look, Ren Zhaozhao. Lu Hua pointed at a figure passing by outside the classroom window and said noisily. Wang Haoran turned his head to look and saw a tall, curvy, and charming girl. If they were to give a score, this girl's overall score was 95, which was very suitable for the female lead. Ren Zhaozhao was just passing by and soon disappeared from everyone's sight. Everyone retracted their gaze. Mu Zhaozhao saw Wang Haoran's gaze outside the window and couldn't help but say, You're staring straight at her. Do you want to know Ren Zhaozhao? Why would I want to know her? Wang Haoran pursed his lips in a sanctimonious manner. He paused for a while and said doubtfully, From what you said, you seem to know her. Ren Zhaozhao is moving in my dormitory today. She'll be my roommate from now on. Mu Zhaozhao replied, Is that so? Do you need me to help you tidy up your dormitory? Wang Haoran was slightly enthusiastic. Are you helping me? or helping Ren Jiao Jiao. Mu Zhao Zhao felt a little strange. I don't know her. Of course, I'm helping you. Wang Haoren explained, then said indifferently, but if you don't want to, then forget it. Yes, there are a lot of things on that empty bed. It's too troublesome for me to clean it up alone. Come and help me. Although she doubted Wang Haoren's intentions, Mu Zhaozhao thought that she could have more opportunities to get along with Wang Haoren. Naturally, she agreed. Chapter 3:27. Noon. Wang Haoren avoided the dormitory manager and slipped into the dormitory. Ren Jiaojiao and Mu Zhaozhao had made an appointment and were already preparing to move things over. Wang Haoren was helping Mu Zhaozhao pack up when he saw Ren Jiaojiao. Looking at me? Why are you looking at me? Haven't you seen a beautiful woman before? Ren Jiaojiao was very uncomfortable being stared at by Wang Haoren and said to him, Then why are you looking at me? Haven't you seen a handsome guy before? Wang Haoren asked back, When did I look at you? Ren Jiaojiao retorted, If you didn't look at me, how would you know that I was looking at you? Wang Haoren said, You. Ren Jiaojiao was annoyed. She immediately clenched her fist and looked like she was going to hit someone. It's just a small matter. Do you have to quarrel? Don't quarrel. Mu Zhaozhao persuaded. For Zhaozhao's sake, I won't argue with you. I'm warning you. Don't look at me with lecherous eyes. Otherwise, I'll beat you up. Ren Jiaojiao felt uncomfortable being stared at by Wang Haoren, so she deliberately said this. After saying that, he walked out of the dormitory casually and continued to move things. This senior is like a tomboy. Mu Zhaozhao sighed and asked Wang Haoren, Do you like this type? Don't joke around. Wang Haoren immediately shook his head. To be honest, if Ren Jiaojiao wasn't the female lead, he wouldn't have bothered. The reason why he came to see Ren Jiaojiao was to see if there was any trace of a new protagonist. For example, the person who helped Ren Jiaojiao move things. But to Wang Haoren's surprise, Ren Jiaojiao did it alone and didn't ask other boys for help. Tomboy is also not bad. Do you really not like this type? Mu Zhaozhao was somewhat unconvinced and asked again. Of course not. If I were to like her, I'd rather like a big, lowly like you. Wang Haoren almost slipped up and quickly took back a word. Mu Zhaozhao was delighted to hear that, but on the surface, she threatened, What nonsense are you talking about? Be careful, or I'll report you to Sister Yunhan. How am I spouting nonsense? It's very big. Wang Haoren could not help but glance at Mu Zhaozhao's body. Then, do you like Sister Yunhan more, or do you like me more? Seeing that there was no one around, Mu Zhaozhao blushed and boldly asked. Wang Haoren remained silent, because he saw the main character coming over. Zhaozhao, what are you doing? Let's eat together. Hey, you're here too. Qin Yunhan walked into the dormitory and said to Mu Zhaozhao, but suddenly saw Wang Haoren and was surprised. I'm helping Mu Zhaozhao pack things. Then let's go eat together after you're done. Qin Yunhan invited. Okay. Wang Haoren nodded. Hey Zhaozhao, why is your face so red? Qin Yunhan noticed Mu Zhaozhao's face. Really? Mu Zhaozhao was stunned. She touched her face and found that it was a little hot. She smiled foolishly and said, Ha, the weather is a little hot. While they were talking, Ren Jiaojiao carried things over and said, I heard you say that you're going to eat from afar. Let's go together. Who are you? Qin Yunhan glanced at her. My name is Ren Jiaojiao. Oh, the sophomore campus belle, right? Qin Yunhan suddenly realized. Hello. I'll also live on this floor in the future. Please take care of me. Ren Jiaojiao looked enthusiastic. Oh. Qin Yunhan smiled perfunctorily. After moving things, Wang Haoren and others went to the school cafeteria to eat together. After ordering, Ren Jiaojiao asked them what drinks they wanted to drink. After getting a response, she immediately went to run errands. When she came back, Ren Jiaojiao brought 4 bottles of drinks. Wang Haoren, Qin Yunhan, Mu Zhaozhao, and Ren Jiaojiao each had a bottle. Wang Haoren opened the bottle cap and was about to take a sip, but when the mouth of the bottle reached his mouth, he stopped drinking. There was something in the drink. Although it was not poison, it was a little dirty. Qin Yunhan and Mu Zhaozhao drank their drinks one after another. Wang Haoren did not stop them because there was nothing in their drinks. Ren Jiaojiao was only targeting him. Why aren't you drinking? Run Jiaojiao saw that Wang Haoran did not drink, so she asked, "I'm not thirsty. I'll drink later." Wang Haoran twisted the bottle cap and put on the table. After Run Jiaojiao saw it, a trace of disappointment flashed in her eyes, but she hid it very well. The dishes were soon served, and they began to eat. Run Jiaojiao was careless. When she ate, she did not look like a girl at all. After eating, she drank a bottle of drink in one gulp and burped, completely ignoring the image of a beautiful woman. Qin Yunhan and Mu Zhaozhao saw it and looked at each other. They could not help but laugh. They felt that Run Jiaojiao was a tomboy and could not help but have a good impression of her. Wang Haoran watched from the side and frowned. To be honest, he had seen many female protagonists, and his expectations were quite high. He was not interested in a tomboy like Run Jiaojiao. If it were not for the fact that he wanted to find the main character through Run Jiaojiao, he would not be bothered with Run Jiaojiao. After dinner, Run Jiaojiao wanted to go to the toilet, so she asked Qin Yunhan and Mu Zhaozhao if they wanted to go with her. The two of them did not drink as many drinks as Run Jiaojiao, so they did not feel anything, so they shook their heads and refused. Run Jiaojiao could only go alone. Wang Haoran, Qin Yunhan, and Mu Zhaozhao waited outside the toilet. While waiting, Wang Haoran felt a little bored, so he used his X-ray vision to take a look. He found a shocking scene. This Run Jiaojiao was actually standing. But soon, she suffered the consequences of her own actions and had to squat down. Wang Haoran had a strange expression on his face. Even if she was a tomboy, wasn't this a little too much? After a while, Run Jiaojiao came out. Wang Haoran subconsciously moved away from her. The reason was very simple. It was because Run Jiaojiao had eaten the bitter fruit of standing. Although it was not so easy to smell, it was still uncomfortable. The weather is so hot. Let's go to the swimming pool together, Run Jiaojiao said to the two girls. That's a good idea, Mu Zhaozhao agreed. Then let's go. Qin Yunhan also had no objections. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Run Jiaojiao shouted excitedly. There was even a trace of saliva at the corner of her mouth. Wang Haoran frowned. Run Jiaojiao was obviously a girl. Why did she look like a wretched man? A wretched man? Wang Haoran was shocked by this thought. At the same time, the doubts that lingered in his heart suddenly showed signs of being solved. He had a preconceived notion that Run Jiaojiao was a campus belle type of female protagonist. Therefore, he was too lazy to waste his villain points to investigate her. He thought that as long as he kept an eye on her, he would be able to wait for the main character to appear. When the time came, he would investigate the main character directly. However, there was actually another possibility. That was, this Run Jiaojiao was the main character. The main character of the male genre. As this thought came to mind, Wang Haoran did not hesitate to use his villain points and immediately checked. Main character, Run Jiaojiao, combat strength, 122, charm, 189. Main character aura, 101, skill Goldfinger transformation system, main plot mission, become best friends with 10 super beauties. You could transform back into a man. After you transform back into a man, your 10 best friends favorability will instantly be increased to the maximum. Note, current mission progress, 25% to become best friends with Mu Zhaozhao, 11% to become best friends with Qin Yunhan. Chapter 328. Sure enough, she was a main character with a transformation style. After learning Run Jiaojiao's information, Wang Haoran was completely sure of his guess. This Run Jiaojiao's behavior were not the careless behavior of a girl, but the behavior of a rough man. It was just that she had a beautiful appearance, so she didn't look so annoying. The so-called transformation style was a man's soul transmigrating into a woman's body. As for the main plot, it was different. And this Run Jiaojiao's main plot made Wang Haoran gnash his teeth. Fortunately, he discovered it early. If he discovered it a little later and let Run Jiaojiao gather 10 girlfriends, then things would be serious. She could directly transform back into a man and maximize the favorability of her 10 girlfriends. We're going to swim, but you don't have a share, so you don't have to follow. After some thoughts flashed through Wang Haoren's mind, Run Jiaojiao's voice also came. After saying that, Run Jiaojiao wanted to pull Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao's hands and go to the swimming pool with the two of them. However, Wang Haoren was one step ahead. He directly, secretly released a stream of true energy and hit Ren Jiaojiao's ankle. Ren Jiaojiao immediately fell to the ground in pain. What happened to you? Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao were surprised. I think I twisted my ankle. It hurts so much. Ren Jiaojiao said while holding her ankle. It seems that we can't go to the swimming pool. Wang Haoren said gloatingly. Ren Jiaojiao glared at him and turned to Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao. Come and help me. I want to go to the infirmary. Let me do it. Wang Haoren said. You want to take advantage of me? I don't want you to help me. Ren Jiaojiao refused. Wang Haoren sneered and said to Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao seriously. You two don't help her. Why should they listen to you? That's hilarious. Ren Jiaojiao scoffed and urged Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao. Hurry up, come and help me. As she spoke, she was already imagining things. Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao each held her arm. Then her arm accidentally touched the front of the two of them, and she tried to take advantage of them. With her identity as a woman, they definitely wouldn't notice anything and would shout hooligans. However, just as Ren Jiaojiao finished her thoughts, she saw that Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao had not moved. What's going on? You guys really listened to him? Ren Jiaojiao asked in surprise. He's so handsome. His girlfriend must be much prettier than you. Why would he need to take advantage of you? He has good intentions, and you're giving him the cold shoulder. You really don't know what's good for you. Qin Yun's hand spoke up for her boyfriend. When she pointed at Ren Jiaojiao, she didn't forget to praise herself. That's right. Wang Haoren has good intentions. How can you say that about him? Mu Zhaozhao naturally stood on Wang Haoren's side and said. Seeing this, Ren Jiaojiao realized that Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao seemed to think highly of Wang Haoren. Although she hated Wang Haoren, after weighing the pros and cons, she still changed her tone and said to Wang Haoren, I was sorry. I'm sorry for what happened just now. Come and help me up. I don't want to help you now. Wang Haoren smiled faintly. Ren Jiaojiao was annoyed that she was fooled. However, because Qin Yun's hand and Mu Zhaozhao were present, she didn't dare to flare up. At this time, she saw two girls from her class passing by and called out to them. The two girls helped Ren Jiaojiao to the infirmary. Do you want to see her? Mu Zhaozhao asked Wang Haoren for his opinion. Go ahead, Wang Haoren replied. The three of them followed to see her. After the school doctor checked her, she said that Ren Jiaojiao had sprained her ankle. Hence, she opened a bottle of wine. The two girls from her class helped Ren Jiaojiao back to the dormitory. You're holding the wine. It's inconvenient to help her. Let me help you, Wang Haoren said to one of the girls. Thank you. After seeing such a handsome face, the girl almost fainted. She immediately handed over the bottle of wine. You're welcome. Wang Haoren took the bottle and followed behind Ren Jiaojiao and the rest. While no one was looking, he opened the bottle of wine and added a few things inside. Not long ago, Xiao Wanwan had followed orders to get some medicine. Wang Haoren had picked a few to deal with Li Yunxi, but kept a few on his person in case he needed them. Now was the perfect time to use them. This was to pay back Ren Jiaojiao for putting something in his drink. Before, Wang Haoren thought that Ren Jiaojiao was the female lead, so he could be magnanimous and not argue with her. But after finding out that she was a wretched man with a pretty girl's skin, he wouldn't be so polite. The two girls helped Ren Jiaojiao to Mu Zhaozhao's room. Ren Jiaojiao's foot hurt terribly, so she didn't go to class in the afternoon. After wiping the wine off herself, she lay on the bed to rest. She slept all the way until evening. When she woke up, Ren Jiaojiao discovered that her foot didn't hurt anymore and rejoiced. When it was time to eat, Ren Jiaojiao prepared to call Mu Zhaozhao to eat, but Mu Zhaozhao didn't come back. Ren Jiaojiao still didn't have Mu Zhaozhao's number, so she couldn't contact her. She decided to eat alone. She put on her shoes and walked out of the room to the corridor. When the girls passing by saw Ren Jiaojiao, they all froze and stopped in their tracks. What are you looking at me for? What are you looking at me for? Haven't you seen a beauty before? Ren Jiaojiao made a mistake and quickly corrected herself. She ignored them and went downstairs. But as she walked, people kept giving her strange looks as if they were looking at a prehistoric animal. Ren Jiaojiao doubtfully stroked her chin, but before she could think, she felt that the beard on her chin was prickly. Her first reaction wasn't to find it strange, but after a few seconds, she came to a realization. She was a woman now, so how could she have a beard? Ren Jiaojiao took out her phone and used the selfie camera to look at herself. Her face was still a girl's face, but there were some things that girls didn't have, such as a beard, an Adam's apple, and so on. In a panic, she continued to check where she was. Soon, she found that her skin had become rough, her arms thicker, and her waist rounder. She even had legs and hair that only men had. She looked like a monster. The people around her secretly took out their phones to take pictures and videos and posted them on the campus forum. Ren Jiaojiao was furious. She roared at the crowd, then covered her face and ran back to the dormitory. In this short period of time, the campus forum exploded. Although Ren Jiaojiao had a beard and an Adam's apple, her face was still recognizable as Ren Jiaojiao. A delicate campus belle suddenly became like this. Naturally, it became news. When Wang Haoren saw this in the campus forum, he immediately asked Lu Hua, Lu Ming, and Wei Zhihong to spread rumors that Ren Jiaojiao had contracted a strange infectious disease. Girls would also become like this once they came into contact with it. This rumor sounded ridiculous, but it still made the girls panic. In the middle of the night, in the dormitory building where Ren Jiaojiao was staying, almost all the girls were outside. They didn't dare to enter the building. When the school learned about this, they immediately called for the people from the hospital to take Ren Jiaojiao out in protective clothing. Some news media also rushed over when they heard the news. The scene of Ren Jiaojiao being taken away was immediately recorded and posted on the media. The speed of information spreading on the internet was very fast. The news that a campus belle in Qingling City had contracted a strange disease almost spread across the internet. Chapter 329. Ding. The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Ren Jiaojiao's social death. Unable to make friends, the host gained 1,800 villain points. Ding. Ren Jiaojiao's main plot collapsed, losing the protagonist's identity. That's it. After a busy day, he only got 1,800 villain points. Wang Haoren was a little disappointed, but soon relieved. Ren Jiaojiao was a very special protagonist, and it was not suitable to leave her alone. Because she was a woman, in a group of women, it was too easy to take advantage of the female protagonist, and must be solved quickly. Ren Jiaojiao was now socially dead, and without the protagonist's identity, she would immediately be kicked out of the girls' dormitory. Not to mention becoming friends with the female protagonist. Even if ordinary women saw her, they would avoid her as if she was the plague. She was no longer a threat at all. It was late at night. Wang Haoren stretched and was also ready to rest. But he received a call from Yuning. Young master, I overheard a big secret. After the phone was connected, Yuning reported in a serious voice. Oh, what is the secret? Wang Haoren couldn't help but cheer up, sitting up on the bed, and asked quickly. This secret was not easy to get. I heard it at great risk. Fortunately, it was not discovered. Otherwise, I don't know what punishment I will face. Yuning said with some fear. Thank you for your hard work. I will definitely reward you. Wang Haoren said, I work for you, not to ask for a reward. Young master's words are too serious. Yuning was flattered for a moment, then paused and said timidly, but if young master is free, you can come and see me. Even if I just see young master, I will be so happy that I can't sleep. After shyly speaking, she directly threw out a big news. Young master, Feng Xuanzu has a husband. Hearing this, Wang Haoren's expectant smile suddenly became a little stiff. That's it. That's it. You don't believe it? I heard it with my own ears. It can't be wrong. Seeing Wang Haoren did not answer, Yuning said again. No, I believe you. You did a good job. Wang Haoren only felt that it was a waste of expression, but he didn't want to hurt Yuning's enthusiasm, so he still praised her verbally. After all, If the news of the number one beauty of the hidden martial world having a husband were to spread in the hidden martial world, it would definitely be explosive. However, this information was of no use to Wang Haoran. Is there any other news other than this? Wang Haoran asked again with a glimmer of hope. No, Yu Ning responded subconsciously. Wang Haoran felt a bit regretful. Then you can continue to investigate. If you find anything special about Yin Yuntian or the people around him, report it to me immediately. Young master, the movements of Yin Yuntian's fiancé, is it special news? Yu Ning thought of something and suddenly asked. Of course not, Wang Haoran quickly answered, and then he was surprised. Yin Yuntian has a fiancé? More than one. Just from what I know, there are 5. Yu Ning said, You know that there are 5, then there are actually more. Yin Yuntian is not breaking the law. Wang Haoran was shocked. In the hidden martial world, it is normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. It is not a rare thing at all. Yu Ning said matter-of-factly. Hearing Yu Ning's words, Wang Haoran was stunned for a while, and then he figured it out. Lin Shun, the prodigy protagonist, had 7 goddesses in the main storyline. For a protagonist like Yin Yuntian, who was like a bulldozer in the main storyline, it would be strange if he didn't have a bunch of female protagonists. However, Wang Haoran felt a headache. With more and more protagonists, there were more and more female protagonists around him. There were so many that he couldn't do anything. In the main storyline of Yin Yuntian, the number of female protagonists should be more than any other protagonist before. Just for Lin Shin's 7 goddesses, Wang Haoran worked hard and only temporarily established a good relationship with 6 of them. The remaining mysterious big sister, he hadn't seen her yet. To be honest, if there were 1 or 2 female protagonists, Wang Haoran wouldn't mind contacting them. But if there were a bunch of them, then forget it. After all, the relationship between the female protagonists around him hasn't been completely harmonious yet. They basically didn't know each other's existence. But for now, there was still a delicate balance. If he provoked the female protagonists, then this balance may not be maintained. Wang Haoran didn't want to cause trouble for himself. To deal with Yin Yuntian, the protagonist, it was better to use other methods. For example, starting with his father's consortium or dealing with the forces of Fengshi Mountain. These were Yin Yuntian's close relatives. As long as these 2 sides were suppressed, it would certainly reduce Yin Yuntian's protagonist aura. As long as Yin Yuntian's protagonist aura was reduced to less than 2,000, then his fatal damage rebound aura would be ineffective. At that time, Wang Haoran would be able to kill him instantly. Seeing that Wang Haoran didn't speak, Yu Ning continued to report the news. One of Yin Yuntian's fiancées came to Qingling. Her name is Feng Anna, now 21 years old. Her appearance and figure are almost impeccable, and her family is prominent. Her father is the head of a large business family that has been passed down for 3 generations, and her mother has the royal blood of Y country. Feng Anna was born with a silver spoon, but she is not a vase. Since childhood, she has shown far more intelligence than her peers. She skipped grades and was admitted to the top foreign university. Before graduating, she founded a clothing brand, and in just 2 or 3 years, it became a large company with a scale of billions. Yu Ning introduced Feng Anna, and it took more than 5 minutes. She was beautiful, had a strong background, was knowledgeable, and was capable. She was a goddess-like figure that could topple all living things. If this wasn't the female protagonist, what else could it be? However, Wang Haoran didn't intend to provoke her. Okay, I know. If there is any other news, remember to tell me. Wang Haoran said. Yes, young master. Yu Ning responded respectfully. After hanging up the phone, Wang Haoran went to sleep. A new day soon came. In the morning, Wang Haoran was awakened by a phone call. Picking up the phone, he found that the caller ID was his 4th cousin. His 4th cousin was called Zhen Simin, the daughter of his 3rd aunt. Wang Haoran and his 4th cousin hadn't contacted each other for a long time. But in his memory, his relationship with his 4th cousin was still very good. He didn't know why his 4th cousin called so early in the morning. While thinking, Wang Haoran answered the phone. I'm so angry, so angry. His cousin's anxious and angry voice came, but he didn't know who it was directed at. Then she said to Wang Haoran, "Haoran, I'm here in Qingling. Where are you?" "Cousin, why are you so angry?" Wang Haoran asked in confusion. A smelly woman with a little bit of beauty actually dared to humiliate me in public, making me lose face. "Haoran, you have to help me," Zhen Simin said impatiently. "A woman who can provoke you shouldn't be simple. What is her identity?" Wang Haoran frowned and asked. Zhen's foundation was not in Qingling, but it was a big business family, and ordinary people didn't dare to provoke them. "I think she's called Feng Anna from Hong Kong Island, and she's a mixed blood. Her family has a little bit of power. But Qingling is your home ground. You don't have to be afraid of her," Zhen Simin said angrily, and came up with an idea to deal with Feng Anna. "Haoran, this Feng Anna is quite beautiful. You can find some people to tie her up, and then you can teach her a lesson. You can not only enjoy the beauty, but also help me vent my anger. It's killing two birds with one stone. Then you can take a video and use it as a threat. I don't think she dares to say anything." After hearing this, Wang Haoran's face was strange. Chapter 330. Wang Haoran was speechless for a long time. "So my family is full of villains, isn't it? Why do they have such terrifying thoughts all the time?" He was already prepared to ignore Feng Anna. In the end, her cousin, Zhen Simin, provoked him. "Haoran, say something. Why aren't you talking? Is there no signal?" Zhen Simin urged when she saw that Wang Haoran didn't answer for a long time. "I'm listening," Wang Haoran responded. "Then you should hurry up and gather people to work. I didn't lie to you. Feng Anna is really beautiful," Zhen Simin said solemnly, and then she said in a flattering tone, "Don't worry. Look at how good I am to you. I even asked you to do such a good thing." Wang Haoran couldn't help but roll his eyes. "This tall but brainless cousin, do you know who she is? How dare you provoke her like this? Fortunately, I'm not a brainless villain. Otherwise, I would definitely be tricked to death by this cousin." "Okay, leave it to me," Wang Haoran said perfunctorily. "Then hurry up. Remember to take a video and use it as a threat," Zhen Simin said. Then she paused for a while and added, "Remember to send a copy to me. I want to see how Feng Anna is taught a lesson." Wang Haoran was shocked by his cousin's words. He said, "Cousin, forget about your suggestion. I'll think of another way to deal with Feng Anna." As a supervillain, it would be too low-end to use Zhen Simin's method to deal with Feng Anna. He didn't want to do it. Besides, it's not like there aren't obedient female leads around. Why would he do such a thing? "Then what do you think? Tell me quickly," Zhen Simin asked. "It's a secret for now. I'll tell you when the time comes," Wang Haoran lied. "I can't stand it. If I don't vent my anger, I won't be able to sleep tonight. Haoran, if you don't help me, I'll go directly to Little Ant. Little Ant loves me so much, she'll definitely help me." Zhen Simin could only say. Zhen Li was the youngest of the older generation in her family. She was the aunt that Zhen Simin mentioned. Wang Haoran was well aware of his mother's bad temper. If Zhen Simin went to complain, his mother would most likely get involved in this mess. With that thought in mind, Wang Haoran could only say, "Don't go looking for my mother. I'll help you vent your anger." "Let's talk face to face," Zhen Simin said. She was still worried. "Name a place," Wang Haoran said directly. Although Zhen Simin treated outsiders badly, she was still very friendly to her family. Wang Haoran planned to help. After all, he was the villain and Zhen Simin's cousin. Of course, he had to unify the factions. Moreover, Feng Anna was the female lead. If she was dealt with, it would be a blow to Yin Yin Tian. After Zhen Simin told him the location, Wang Haoran hung up the phone and prepared to leave. However, just as he stepped out of the villa, he saw a figure standing quietly outside the door. Although it was just her back view, it was still breathtakingly beautiful. When she turned around, her dazzling appearance almost stole Wang Haoran's soul away. With such charm, who else could it be other than Feng Xuanzu? Seeing Wang Haoran come out, Feng Xuanzu's slightly furrowed brows relaxed. A smile bloomed on her delicate face. She took light steps forward and arrived in front of Wang Haoran, swaying gracefully. "I've offended you before. Please don't take it to heart." Feng Xuanzu apologized to Wang Haoran. It's okay. Wang Howren waved his hand nonchalantly. Then, he asked curiously, how did you know that I live here? Last night, I dreamed of you. You were the one who told me. Feng Xuanzu revealed a charming smile. Of course, Wang Howren didn't believe it. However, after thinking about it, he quickly guessed that Feng Xuanzu got it from Qin Yunhan. Wang Howren didn't dare to make any obvious response to Feng Xuanzu's burning gaze, because once he acknowledged Feng Xuanzu, his backyard might be on fire. One should know that Feng Xuanzu was different from a girlfriend. Once he acknowledged her, she would be his wife. If Qiu Qianwei's sisters knew about this, it would be terrible. Moreover, even if he could hide it from Qiu Qianwei, what if Feng Xuanzu went to Qiu Qianwei? After all, she was the main character, and Qiu Qianwei was just a girlfriend. Of course, she had a reason to stir up trouble. Not responding to Feng Xuanzu was the best solution. Of course, he couldn't ignore her too much. After all, it would be a pity to give up the #1 beauty of the hidden world. Actually, I dream of a woman occasionally. Wang Howren met Feng Xuanzu's gaze and said seriously, who is this woman? What does she look like? Does she look like me? Feng Xuanzu was agitated. She walked closer and grabbed Wang Howren's hand and asked anxiously, I want to see her face clearly, but I can't see it clearly every time. But there's a voice in the dark telling me that she's very important to me, Wang Howren said seriously. After he said that, Wang Howren could clearly feel that Feng Xuanzu was very agitated. She was so agitated that her hands were trembling. The person in your dream is actually your wife. And I'm your wife. Feng Xuanzu's eyes were sparkling. Unable to suppress her emotions, she hugged the figure in front of her. Wang Howren wanted to respond, but Lu Yu's villa wasn't far away. If Qiu Qianwei and her sisters saw it, it would be troublesome. Miss, please have some self-respect. Wang Howren pushed Feng Xuanzu away against his will. With the demeanor of a gentleman, he wanted to keep a distance from her. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Feng Xuanzu knew that she had lost her composure and quickly apologized. It's all right, Wang Howren said magnanimously. He didn't want to chat with Feng Xuanzu at the villa's entrance. I have something to do. I won't chat with you anymore. Then I won't disturb you. Feng Xuanzu didn't dare to pester him and was about to leave. However, before she left, she suddenly said, if you run into any trouble, you can look for me at any time. No matter how difficult it is, I'll do my best to help you. Thank you, Wang Howren said. Feng Xuanzu threw him another scorching look. Then, she left while looking back repeatedly. Wang Howren drove the Lamborghini Dainyu to the place Zhun Simin mentioned. In the private room of a high-end tea restaurant, a young and beautiful woman with an air of nobility was sipping her tea leisurely. Anna, you didn't even discuss this with the family head before making such a decision. Aren't you afraid that the family head will reprimand you? In front of her was a middle-aged woman in her 40s. She wasn't in the mood to enjoy the tea at all. She said with a gloomy face, Aunt Zhong, you watch me grow up. You should know me well. I want to control my own life. I don't want to be controlled by others, even if that person is my father. The young woman swirled the tea in her cup gently. A sharp light flashed across her calm eyes. Chapter 331. The young and beautiful woman was Feng Anna, and the middle-aged woman who was called Aunt Zhong by Feng Anna was called Zhong Li. Zhong Li played the role of Feng Anna's bodyguard. However, Zhong Li watched Feng Anna grow up, and their relationship was similar to that of a family member. After hearing Feng Anna's words, Zhong Li was still very worried. Anna, you are the daughter of the master. The master may indulge you, but your fiancé, Yin Yuntian, may not. Yin Yuntian's father owns a consortium worth hundreds of billions, and his mother is the leader of a powerful hidden sect. Such a powerful background is definitely not something we can offend. Moreover, I heard that Yin Yuntian is overbearing. How can he allow you to break off the engagement? In my opinion, this matter will most likely not succeed. After earnestly persuading for a while, Zhong Li solemnly persuaded. So while it's not too late, we should return to Fragrant Island and pretend that we never came here. Since I'm here, how can I return empty-handed? Feng Anna looked very calm and said indifferently, I know what I'm doing. I won't be stupid enough to use such an extreme method to talk to Yin Yun Tian about this. A deep brilliance flashed in her eyes. I will let Yin Yun Tian break off the engagement himself. Anna, you are so beautiful. Can Yin Yun Tian bear to do that? It's impossible for Yin Yun Tian to take the initiative to break off the engagement. Zhenli said in disbelief. Nothing is impossible. Feng Anna picked up the tea and took a sip. The corner of her mouth hooked up in an inexplicable arc, seeing that Feng Anna seemed to have a plan. Zhenli did not ask more. She watched Feng Anna grow up and knew that Feng Anna was smarter than others. Since she said so, there must be a safe solution. Wang Haoran parked the car, walked into a high-end tea restaurant, and found a private room where Zhen Simin was. Zhen Simin saw Wang Haoran walk into the private room, stood up, and said in surprise, Haoran, I haven't seen you for a long time. You have become more handsome. Cousin, you too. You're still so radiant. Wang Haoran casually praised her. Zhen Simin's appearance was not bad. She could score 85 points. Although she was not very stunning, she could still be considered a beauty. Hearing Wang Haoran's praise, the smile on Zhen Simin's face became even wider. She could not help but say, Haoran, your mouth is really sweet. How many girls can resist you? Tell me, how many beautiful girls have you slept with? The corner of Wang Haoran's mouth twitched. He really deserved to be called a villain. His 3 views were crooked, and his words were so vulgar. Cousin, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm a decent person, Wang Haoran said sternly. Haoran, I'll have to give you a good scolding. You have such a handsome face. It's a waste of God's gift if you don't chase girls. You haven't had a taste, right? Go ahead and have a try. I guarantee you won't stop. Zhen Simin lectured him in a mature tone. Wang Haoran was a little depressed. He felt that he could not continue this conversation. At this time, it's her. Zhen Simin seemed to have seen something through the crack of the door and suddenly shouted. Who? Wang Haoran asked. That Feng Anna. While speaking, Zhen Simin quickly stood up and walked out of the door. Wang Haoran hurriedly followed. Zhen Simin walked less than 10 steps out of the door and caught up with 2 women. Wang Haoran's eyes fell directly on the young and beautiful woman. This woman's appearance, figure, and temperament were excellent. Each of them could be scored 96, 97, and 98. In total, it was 97 points. Needless to say, this woman must be the female lead, Feng Anna. But Wang Haoran did not continue to think about it. He hurriedly walked forward and pulled Zhen Simin, who was about to fight with someone. The middle-aged woman next to Feng Anna took a step forward to protect Feng Anna. If Zhen Simin made any strange movements, she would immediately teach her a lesson. Cousin, you are a member of the upper class. Don't make a fool of yourself. Calm down. Wang Haoran persuaded Zhen Simin in a low voice and looked at the middle-aged woman next to Feng Anna. This woman's body was fluctuating with true energy. She was about 30 years old and very strong. Of course, for Wang Haoran, it was just a matter of slapping her away. However, Wang Haoran did not want to casually fight in front of others. Naturally, he did not want to let his cousin Zhen Simin act recklessly. That's right. I'm a lady of the upper class. I can't casually fight with a stinky woman. Zhen Simin noticed that there were people around watching the show. She also calmed down, but her mouth was still full of sarcasm. Zhongli frowned and couldn't help but take a step forward. Feng Anna suddenly raised her hand slightly and signaled her not to act rashly. Zhongli understood and took a step back, but she did not let down her guard. Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something on my face? Feng Anna caught Wang Haoran's gaze. Wang Haoran did not answer the question. He just signaled to Zhen Simin, who was next to him, and said to Feng Anna, This is my cousin. Hearing this, Feng Anna only felt that he was making a statement. She looked at Wang Haoran meaningfully. Seeing this, Zhen Simin was worried that Wang Haoran would not help her vent her anger, so she immediately said impatiently, Haoran, why are you talking to her in such a pleasant manner? Don't tell me you have been seduced by this vixen. Who are you calling a vixen? Watch your mouth. Zhongli pointed at Zhen Simin and warned. Feng Anna frowned and cast a glance at Zhongli, signaling her to stop talking. Zhongli was unwilling, but she still shut up. Feng Anna smiled again and looked at Wang Haoran. I have a misunderstanding with your cousin, but I can see that you should be a reasonable person. On the contrary, I am an unreasonable person. Wang Haoran replied. Is that so? Feng Anna's face showed disappointment and sighed. Your cousin asked you to help her vent her anger. I think your identity is not simple. I can't fight with you. If that's the case, if you want to fight or kill, it's up to you. Wang Haoran frowned. This script is not right. I'm a villain. Why is Feng Anna's attitude so friendly? While feeling puzzled, Wang Haoran checked Feng Anna's favorability rating. Then he was shocked to find that it was -20, very annoying. Wang Haoran suddenly felt that it was natural. This is the attitude of a female lead toward the villain. However, he couldn't help but complain. My charm is more than 500. Most of the female leads will have a favorable impression of me when they see me. What's wrong with this Feng Anna? How can she be immune to my charm and have a bad impression of me? This is ridiculous. You're exaggerating. I can't bear to hit a beauty like you. Wang Haoran responded to Feng Anna's words. Feng Anna has a powerful bodyguard by her side. Her background is not simple. She also has Yin Yun Tian as her fiancé, but she is pretending to be weak and friendly to me. She must have other intentions. Wang Haoran followed her wishes and wanted to see what she was going to do. Chapter 332. Thank you for your generosity. Feng Anna showed a gentle smile and said, as the saying goes, no enmity, no friendship. Let me prepare a meal as an apology to you and your cousin. Would you be willing to do me the honor? Of course I'll give face to a beauty. Wang Haoran agreed. When are you free? Feng Anna asked. Why not the present? Wang Haoran didn't want to wait. Then let's do it tonight. Feng Anna said immediately. Seeing that the two had finished discussing, Zhen Simin suddenly became anxious and said, Haoran, I asked you to help me vent my anger, not to flirt. Wang Haoran covered her mouth, pulled her aside, and said in a low voice, Cousin, don't worry. I said I'll help you vent your anger, so I'll definitely help you. I have my own ideas, so don't mess with me. What ideas? Flirt with her, then dump her after playing with her? Let her be heartbroken? That sounds pretty good. Zhen Simin thought for a while and said in a low voice, Cousin, you're really witty. Wang Haoran had other ideas, but he didn't want to talk to Zhen Simin, so he could only agree with her and calm her down. Okay, but remember to torture her more. It's best if you take more videos and copy them for me. Zhen Simin still couldn't forget this idea. Okay. Wang Haoran said perfunctorily, then said a few more polite words to Feng Anna, exchanged names, and then left with Zhen Simin. Anna, why do you have to give him face? Why are you doing this? Zhongli saw that there was no one else, so she asked in confusion. What do you think of that, Wang Haoran? Feng Anna didn't answer, but asked a question out of the blue. He's just a good-looking, rich second generation. Anna, you've always hated this kind of character. As Zhongli spoke, she suddenly realized something. Feng Anna didn't say anything more, and a deep smile appeared on her face. In the evening, Wang Haoran and Zhen Simin went to a big hotel as promised. During the meal, Feng Anna was extremely friendly and frequently toasted Wang Haoran. Wang Haoran couldn't see through her intentions for the time being, so he responded enthusiastically. Feng Anna drank a little wine. Her cheeks were rosy, and her eyes were misty. She looked beautiful beyond compare. After the dinner, it was already late. Zhongli received a call at the last minute and left. Nice to meet you today, Feng Anna said to Wang Haoran eagerly. Me too, Wang Haoran replied with a smile. I'm staying in this hotel, so I'm going back to my room. Feng Anna got up and said goodbye, but when she stood up, she was a little unsteady because she was drunk. Wang Haoran's heart stirred. When the dinner was about to end, Zhongli, who was not weak, suddenly left, leaving behind a powerless Feng Anna. Based on Zhongli's previous nervous attitude towards Feng Anna, this was indeed somewhat abnormal. More importantly, Feng Anna was still a little drunk. Is she deliberately creating an opportunity for me? Let's see what she's up to. After Wang Haoran cleared his thoughts, he immediately said to Feng Anna, You're drunk. Let me take you back to your room. How can I trouble you? Feng Anna declined politely. It's okay, Wang Haoran said generously. Then I'll have to trouble you. Feng Anna nodded. Wang Haoran walked forward, and Feng Anna put her hand on his shoulder and led the way. After Zhen Simin was brainwashed by Wang Haoran, she naturally didn't cause trouble. She gave Wang Haoran a thumbs up and secretly cheered him on, then left silently. Wang Haoran took Feng Anna to a top-class suite. Feng Anna opened the door and walked in, her body swaying slightly. Have a good rest, I'm going back. Wang Haoran stood by the door and didn't follow her in. Since you're already here, do you have the heart to leave just like that? Feng Anna's cheeks were flushed after drinking, and coupled with the soft whispers that tugged at his heartstrings, it could be said to be seductive and soul-stealing. Hearing this, Wang Haoran's heart didn't waver, but his face showed excitement. Fearing that she would change her mind, he immediately walked in and came to Feng Anna. Why are you in such a hurry? Feng Anna quietly took a step back, keeping a distance from Wang Haoran, and then took a bottle of red wine from the wine rack in the room. She poured 2 glasses. I didn't have enough just now. Let's have another drink. Feng Anna handed one of the glasses of red wine to him. Wang Haoran took the red wine glass and sneered in his heart. The edge of the red wine glass was covered with sweat and drugs. Wang Haoran had encountered a similar thing before, and it was Tang Bingyun who did it. Now it was Feng Anna. But the intentions of the two were completely different. One was out of love, and the other had ulterior motives. In order to reassure Wang Haoran, Feng Anna took a sip of the red wine first, and then saw that Wang Haoran didn't move, so she asked with a smile, "You're not as good as me. Could it be that your alcohol tolerance is worse than mine? Why aren't you drinking?" She put drugs on the edge of Wang Haoran's wine glass, and her glass was completely fine. "You pour the wine. How can I not do you the honor?" While laughing, Wang Haoran also took a sip. Now he was not like when he met Tang Bingyun, and now he was invulnerable to all poisons. He couldn't even take a few pounds of knockout drugs, let alone a little bit on the edge of the glass. "I'll take a shower first." Seeing that Wang Haoran drank the wine, Feng Anna's eyes flashed with a sly smile, and then she walked to the shower. Soon, the sound of water came from the shower. Wang Haoran estimated the dosage of the drug, and 2 or 3 minutes later, he pretended to be dizzy and directly fell on the bed, pretending to pass out. Not long after, Feng Anna walked out with her clothes intact. Even her eyes, which were previously filled with drunkenness, had become surprisingly sober. After making a phone call, Zhongli pushed the door in and began to create an accident scene. She even poured a drop of red liquid on the white sheet. Although Wang Haoran closed his eyes, he saw it with his X-ray vision, and he felt strange. What is Feng Anna's purpose of framing me? After thinking for a while, Wang Haoran couldn't figure it out. At this time, Zhongli finished her work, and then she left with Feng Anna. The next day, at dawn, Feng Anna returned to the room again. Holding back her disgust, she got under the quilt again. Wang Haoran was actually awake, but he didn't say anything. He secretly released a stream of genuine qi to knock Feng Anna out. Then, Wang Haoran took some photos with Feng Anna, although he still didn't know what Feng Anna's purpose was. But he couldn't cooperate with Feng Anna for nothing. He had to keep something useful for himself. After taking the photos, Wang Haoran returned to his original position. At this time, Feng Anna also woke up slowly. She didn't notice anything unusual. She only thought that she didn't sleep well last night, so she closed her eyes and slept for a while. Wang Haoran also woke up at the right time. Looking at the surrounding environment and Feng Anna next to him, he quietly turned on his phone and began to record. He said blankly, "You're still asking. What did you do? Have you forgotten?" Feng Anna's eyes were full of affection, and she was shy. Chapter 333. Looking at Feng Anna's shy look, it didn't seem fake at all. Wang Haoran was a little impressed by her acting skills, but he didn't feel anything in his heart. He even wanted to laugh. But on the surface, he was still very cooperative with Feng Anna. Wang Haoran spent a lot of effort talking to Feng Anna about some things that couples would say when they first got together. Feng Anna didn't suspect Wang Haoran at all. After all, Wang Haoran's acting skills were also top-notch. In the future, forget about me. While they were chatting happily, Feng Anna suddenly said something coldly. Wang Haoran knew that she was probably going to get to the point, so he immediately cooperated. What do you mean? How can I bear to forget you? Are you pretending to be nice to me? Of course not. When I saw you, I fell in love with you and wanted to be with you for the rest of my life. Otherwise, I wouldn't be like this. I'm not a casual person, Feng Anna said with a sincere face. Then why did you say that you want me to forget you? Wang Haoran asked. Don't ask. I'm the one who asked you to leave. It's for your own good. Feng Anna pretended to be gentle. Why? Wang Haoran vaguely guessed something, so he asked. Because I have a fiancé, but this marriage was arranged by my elders. I don't like him at all. Feng Anna's face was full of pain as she replied. Wang Haoran completely understood. As Yin Yuntian's fiancé, Feng Anna must know his background. And in Feng Anna's mind, he was just an ordinary rich second-generation heir. Feng Anna's real intention was to make him a fool and then get Yin Yuntian's bad luck. In order to break off the marriage with Yin Yuntian, Feng Anna wanted to use him as cannon fodder. Her intentions were simply too evil. Wang Haoran felt a burst of anger in his heart. He had an impulse to slap Feng Anna to the wall. However, as his thoughts turned, he suddenly thought of another idea. Only then did he forcefully suppress this thought. So you have a fiancé. Sorry to disturb you. Wang Haoran knew Feng Anna's intention. He lost the mood to act and was ready to leave. Feng Anna was dumbfounded. When she came back to her senses, she pretended to be reluctant and said sadly, You can go, but I will always remember you. You are my first man and also my last. After saying that, 2 lines of tears flowed down her cheeks, looking really pitiful. Wang Haoran left without looking back, allowing Feng Anna to put on a one-man show. However, when he was out of Feng Anna's sight, he stopped to use his X-ray vision to see what was going on. He is indeed a heartless scumbag. He threw her away immediately after getting her. Fortunately, it's just a show. Feng Anna's tears instantly stopped, and her expression became cold. Zhongli also walked into the room and came to Feng Anna's side. Anna, if this Wang Haoran isn't willing to look for Yin Yuntian, then wouldn't all your efforts be in vain? If he doesn't go, I can go and tell Yin Yuntian myself. Feng Anna showed the expression of being in control again. You are crazy. Yin Yuntian will be furious. Aren't you courting death? Zhongli was shocked. How can you blame me for this? I was forced. Feng Anna said slyly. Then she stretched out her hand and scratched the skin on her neck with her nails. A trace of blood slowly oozed out. Zhongli was shocked, but at the same time, she couldn't help admiring Feng Anna. In the distance, Wang Haoran saw this scene with his X-ray vision and couldn't help raising his eyebrows. This Feng Anna was really shrewd. However, she underestimated him after all. Did she really think that he was a brainless, rich second generation? She had planned everything, but in the end, she only lifted a stone and dropped it on her own feet. Wang Haoran showed a smirk and left the hotel to make arrangements. In a big house, time was the best medicine to calm down. After suffering a huge blow, Yin Yuntian slowly recovered. Although he still didn't leave the house, at least he was out of the room. At this time, he was in the garden, fiddling with the flowers and plants, cultivating his mind and temperament. Someone left something at the door of the house. Yuning suddenly came to report. When she reported, she didn't address Yin Yuntian as young master, because in her mind, Wang Haoran was already her master. The title of young master would only be used to address Wang Haoran. Yin Yuntian didn't care about these details and continued to fiddle with the flowers and plants. He asked softly, What is it? There was a note on it, saying that you should open it. I didn't open it. Yuning said. Yin Yuntian frowned, put down the small shovel that was turning the soil, took a package from Yuning, and checked it vigilantly. He found that there was no poison in it, nor hidden weapons. There were 2 things in package, a stack of photos and a new recording pen. Yin Yuntian opened the photos and looked at them. Every time he looked at a photo, the anger on his face increased by a point. When he finished looking at all the photos, his whole face was distorted. In the photo, there was a man and a woman covered with a quilt, only showing their faces. However, from the intimacy of the neck up, It was already possible to imagine many pictures. It's just that the man's appearance was blurred, but the woman's face was clear. Moreover, Yin Yuntian recognized this woman. She was his fiancée, Feng Anna. His fiancée was fooling around with another man. However, Yin Yuntian still had a hope that these photos were composited. He opened a recording pen and listened to it. He suddenly heard a man and a woman talking about love, passively eating a lot of dog food. The photos and voices added together. The last hope in Yin Yuntian's heart was all shattered. He lost his voice and screamed crazily. Ding! The host caused the protagonist Yin Yuntian's mentality to be damaged. Gained 4,000 villain points. Yin Yuntian protagonist aura -200. Host villain aura +200. Yuning covered her ears, isolating herself from the harsh roar. After a long while, the roar stopped. Yuning also saw Feng Anna. She knew her appearance and heard her voice. Yin Yuntian did not avoid it and looked at the photos and recordings in the package in front of her. Yuning, who was beside him, naturally heard it. She secretly smiled and quietly retreated. In the garden, there was a loud noise of breaking flower pots and other things. For a long time, it didn't stop. After a while, Yuning came again and reported, "There's a guest." "I don't see any guest today." Yin Yuntian was in a depressed mood and replied, It's Feng Anna." Yuning added another sentence. Ka. Yin Yuntian clenched his fists and his knuckles made sound. He gritted his teeth and said word by word, "Bring her. Come. See me." Yuning nodded and left for a while. When she returned to the garden again, she had Feng Anna by her side. However, at this time, Feng Anna's eyes were filled with tears, her expression was haggard, and her face was as white as paper. There were scratches on her neck, as if she had been treated very badly. "I was forced. I'm not clean, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of you. And I'm not qualified to marry into Fengshi Mountain. I don't want to shame you. We should cancel the engagement." Feng Anna was pitiful and sobbing. "You said you were forced?" Yin Yuntian asked with a sneer. Yes. While speaking, the tears in Feng Anna's eyes were like a flood pouring out, and in a blink of an eye, her cheeks were wet, as if she had been wronged. Yin Yuntian didn't speak, and directly took the recording pen and played it. In the recording, Feng Anna's voice was sweet, as if she was the happiest woman in the world, and she was tirelessly talking with her lover. This is called forced? After the recording was played, Yin Yuntian asked angrily. Feng Anna forgot to pretend to cry and was dumbfounded.